people would steal cars and turn up in stolen cars, burnouts until there were no tyres, and then the police would come and then we'd get the blame. And sometimes people would take their clothes off.
He moons the camera and then spreads his... Hello and welcome back to the C.R.E.A.M podcast, not numbered because this one is with special guest Johnny Smith of The Late Break Show, of Smith and Sniff, of Fifth Gear, and off that lay-by you see on the motorway sometimes on certain nights. Hello, Johnny Smith. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for inviting me along.
We've been
extremely kind of you.
We've been after you for a while. We've been liaising,
pursuing.
Yeah, we have been pursuing.
You've been effing patient.
Yeah. Well, we're here now.
So thanks.
And we're here at Ignition Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
This is a very cool place. And you've got some of your cars for the audio listeners. What have we got behind us?
You're actually leaning on the Dodge.
I am.
The Charger. And then we've got the Tokyo Taxi Cedric Nissan. And then we got my Avenger finished touring car.
Yeah.
Over there.
Did you know that was called a Cedric? Were you aware that's what that was?
I didn't know that was called a Cedric. That's a funny name.
Did you think
that is a funny name?
It was just called Cedric.
Oh no, I thought it was an Alex Kirsten special.
No.
This is Stephen. That one's Cedric.
No, I don't name my cars.
That's good news.
Good.
That's good.
The car's name is the car.
You're allowed to carry on the podcast now.
Okay.
We've gone through the vetting process. So for those that may not know, how would you describe yourself at a dinner party, perhaps? Well, not yourself, your career.
Bit of a twat.
Yeah.
How would I describe myself? So I guess traditionally a motoring journalist.
Right.
So I started off as a print media writer, content creator, but on print, and then migrated into television 20 years ago. And then, but sort of by accident, then started doing YouTube. But that was because YouTube took off in a much bigger way. And as YouTube became a massive business, rather than a hobby, I sort of saw the opportunity and thought, I've done a good stint on the TV, I'll go into that. So now I don't like to call myself a YouTuber.
YouTuber.
Content creator.
An influencer.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a bit of all of those things, but hopefully not too annoying. I don't know. You be the judge of that.
You're one of a very few people on earth that has done the whole pipeline. You've done motoring journalist into television and then into online social media.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's next, do you reckon? Are we all going to end up on TikTok doing live? What's
doing dances and...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I am on TikTok in so much as I pay someone to put our material on TikTok. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I don't fully understand some social media platforms. I don't know whether it's an age thing or whether it's just a mental bandwidth. It's like, I haven't got the mental capacity to bring in another platform. Because you know what it's like. This is quite a treadmill, this life.
Big time. Yeah.
And although it's really enjoyable, it's fast and it's relentless. So what's next? It's a really good question. Shit. The podcast is now a business and it wasn't before. So the Smith and Sniff podcast started off as just a silly video hobby and then went into a podcast during COVID, which is 6 years ago. And then it's back in as a video podcast because you have to record podcasts now because that's the way the world is. I'd like to do some more video, like road trippy things with Richard. We've talked about it. We just need things like money and time. And just
I've been searching all over.
Yeah.
I think end goal, all of us are going to end up used car salesmen. I think that's what we're going to end up.
Selling our own cars. Just lists of 40, 50 cars.
I think social media is just going to end and we're going to go, right, I've got a Fiesta.
Car thieves, car salesmen.
Car thieves. C.R.E.A.M would do well as car thieves, I think.
Would be great.
But I think we'd be quite obvious because they go, right, who's Nick to Carlton? It's gonna be them, isn't it?
Sarah Cosworths.
Yeah.
I once interviewed a load of car thieves in a Young Offenders Institute for Max Power.
Yeah.
It was quite scary.
Because there was also the, what was it, Eddie Jordan's Boy Racers? Do you remember that?
Yes,
and
I do
there was a load of
that.
ex-car thieves who in there, and the amount of ingenuity.
Yeah.
The old tennis ball trick they were doing, all sorts of stuff. I was like, this is crazy.
I always wonder how people get hold of car thieves. Like Mark McCann did it recently. He was like, I found a car thief. I'm like, where do you go to find a car thief? There's no website or forum, surely. There's no Facebook group.
Dodgy pub on a Friday night.
On a Facebook group where you answer a load of questions and it's just like, are you a car thief? Have you done time?
I think
are you the police?
There was always going to be thieves who are thick and thieves who are sly and canny and want to stay below the radar. It's like drug dealers that choose to drive a Urus, for example. But really, the ultimate drug dealer car would be, I don't know, a Nissan Juke with some dents on it.
Yeah.
Because they're everywhere.
Yeah. Fully insured.
Fully insured.
Correctly MOT.
Yes.
A couple of advisories on there, not to, no red flags. You just look at it and you go, all right, that's just a normal car.
I always think all the car thieves are now just locksmiths. Like they have to be.
Yeah.
That's the best way to develop those skills into a legal trade. It's trust me, I'm going to be legal soon.
Yeah.
It's going, I'll just be a locksmith.
Our,
people now pay me to break into their car.
Our Jag XFR that we had no keys, and Dips wasn't available to come. So we rung up another guy. You rung that other guy, and we said, we have this car. Can you fix it? And he was like, yeah, no problem. We said, we're a YouTuber and we're filming it. And he went, oh, no, I can't do that. I've, people know me. I've done some time. I don't want to be on camera.
People know me. I've done some time.
Okay. All right. Also, I trust him more. If you tell me that, I've done time for the keys, I'm like, you're going to sort this.
I'm a little bit worried though.
Yeah.
Because he now knows the shape of my keys, where my house is, where things are.
Good news, I fixed it. Bad news, car's gone.
I've looked at your house.
He's been honest about the dishonesty.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes you trust him more.
Which is more trustworthy. Yeah, exactly. Damn.
What have I got? Let me get the list out.
By the way, if you hear any background sort of stuff, there is a car on my shoulder, a 911 GT3 RS. It's not mine, sadly. That's being repaired at the moment.
This is a working garage.
It was supposed to have gone on Thursday, but some wrong parts arrived. We know the way this
you know
goes.
how it goes.
And then when they did, they didn't quite fit. Blah 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 blah. So it's still here.
What we can't hear is Ben Rogers.
Yes, Ben Rogers is away in Barbados, of course.
What an absolute-
He will love us mentioning that.
On his 15th holiday of the week.
Absolute swine.
He hates guests. He really hates guests.
Yeah, he hears anything outside the unit and he goes, my fuel paid for.
Did you mention it was me? And then he went, yeah, I think I'm in Barbados. I'm just going to check.
No, he booked it after hearing it was you.
Oh, shit.
How can I spend some money? This is a very random, this is almost like a job interview question, but what was your very first day in automotive journalism actually like?
Okay. So my first day experiencing what journalism was going to be like was actually work experience. So I didn't have a job. I was 16. I was at college and I got a placement for a week at a magazine called Volksworld, which is air-cooled classic Volkswagens, custom Volkswagens. And that was like my thing. That was all I cared about at the time. And I got to spend a week in Croydon, which was nice.
No one's ever said that before.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a rural community, and so Croydon was quite an eye-opener. But I remember being in an office and being given a task, to phone an owner, to book a shoot, to write about a car and delve into a bit of history. And the whole process of it, I was just telling someone this week just gone of like how exciting that was. It was so exciting.
Yeah.
I looked across the office and bear in mind this was, what was this? 1995. Magazines were really, really powerful. The internet wasn't a thing. It's hard to imagine that now. But, mags had huge budgets. They were powerful. They sold well and they were influential. They were the influencers. So I remember that being really, that was the light bulb moment where I went, that is what I want to do for a living. I don't know if I can do it for my whole career, who knows, but that's what I want to do right now. And I went back and finished my A-levels and then went off to university and ended up getting a job less than a year into my degree. So I actually never finished my degree. It was shit anyway. But if you go into university, stick at it and do well. But I didn't. And I got my foot in the door as a journalist. So that was really special. And then my first day on a job was really quite daunting because obviously new jobs are quite daunting, right? But I felt like what was good about it is they really encouraged you to be creative and you're constantly thinking about how you can put a spin on something, shed a different light on something, maybe. And I thought quickly, I realized quite quickly, it's like if I come up with a shit hot idea to, I don't know, drive a long way over there and meet a person, they'll just go, yeah, we'll sign that off. So I started to go, okay, wow. So maybe we go and meet an owner with a really cool car that I've never driven and we drive that and then we do this and then we do that. And then project cars, you realize that you could legitimately talk about a project and maybe get some parts cheaper. Oh, okay. So
it's literally YouTube,
Yeah,
basically.
it is
what
the
happens
same
on
thing.
YouTube now, but on paper, basically.
You know, you see the YouTube thumbnail influencer face, like, oh my gosh, I've just shat my pants. So we were doing all that in magazine opening spreads because you had to have like a bang, wow, big title, shocked face or car doing something crazy, a little bit of Photoshop. And I realize now it's the same, but it's just 25 years later in a different medium and a much faster medium as well.
What was your first press car? Or like first car that you drove that wasn't your own, that was for an article or something?
It would have been a new, because it was at the Volkswagen Mag. So although we were Classic Mag, the new Beetle had launched or was about to launch, and we got a very early left-hand drive one. When I say new, that new Beetle is what, 1998?
Yeah. Was it sick green, jazz blue, or was it yellow?
I think it was yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Wasps Follow You Yellow. And I remember driving that did we drive it to Wolfsburg? I think we drove it to Wolfsburg and went to the museum, the Autostadt. And I remember, because I sat in Hitler's car as well.
Okay.
Which I don't think was part of the...
Got the hook for the episode.
I don't... we got a lock-in in this museum. I remember that. And there was the millionth Beetle and various other Volkswagens that were quite historic. And Hitler's sort of parade car, this convertible military thing, was there. And I did just go and sit in the back of it. And I wish I hadn't, because it felt creepy.
Yeah, that would feel a bit creepy.
Yeah, I sort of regret that, but I did it.
I always love reading some of I'm buying a lot of old magazines at the moment just because it's cool to read back. Because some of them I remember, but some of them are even older than the magazines I would have had as a kid. But just reading the stuff that they were doing then.
Yeah.
It's like, they're just YouTube videos. They would get a press car, they would get a Gallardo or a 550 and go, well, we're going to drive to Italy, aren't we?
Yeah.
And it almost felt like you didn't need to drive to Italy, but you wanted to drive to Italy. But that's what made the story. But it's quite I almost envy that time of sort of journalism.
But then at the same time, was it the autocar one on the Focus, on the Mark 1 Focus, where they did 95 laps of the M25 in a day or something? Why did you do that? Why did you go, right, this is what we're going to do this week? You had the option to do anything with that. You could have just gone, right, we'll go up Evo Triangle and we'll get some photos. But went, I'm going to stick myself in this car for 24 hours and drive the M25. Why not?
I think the thing I miss about it was the fact that you had more time to do a shoot and write a feature and piece it all together. Because life is so fast now, you simply wouldn't get the chance to do it. If they said, do 95 laps of the M25, like, what about 9? Yeah. And can you write it by tomorrow morning? Yeah. And it's like, no, not really. Because we'll still be filming it, not filming it, photographing it.
Yeah. Plus, I guess the other nice thing is that you could experience the thing, and then you just need to collect your thoughts afterwards. Obviously, you have a photographer with you, but you don't have, right, roll the camera, now make sure you get this take.
Yes.
We messed it up, right, do it again. You don't actually, I don't want it to sound ungrateful. We have the best job in the world. But a lot of times, the experience is overshadowed by filming the experience.
Yeah.
So you go, you look back at it afterwards and you're like, oh, that was quite fun. Yeah. But in the moment, you're like, right, get that shot, Ben. Have you got that? Are you all good? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and you're looking at that to see if the red light is still flashing.
Yeah.
and you're going, oh, is your audio cut out? Because if his is cut out, shit.
Yeah.
It is true. There's an underlying stress, but that's because ultimately it is a job.
Of course, yeah.
And you are balancing it's a passion and it's fun, but it is a job. And sometimes you can get that a bit wrong by maybe forgetting that you're doing a job and not getting all the things you needed to, or taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
But as long as you come away from something, I mean, I sort of forget. I've got to that age, I think, which is a bit sad, where I've sort of forgotten all the things I've done until someone prompts me, and then I go, oh yeah, I have driven one of them. And I did go there and I did meet that person. Shit, yeah.
But you've got it on the locker though, so it means
I've got it somewhere.
You just need someone to prompt you and poke you and say, you did this.
Like a sleeper agent. Someone goes,
it is.
1999 Monza, and you go, Lamborghini, I was there with them doing this.
Yeah, of course I've driven one of those.
Yeah,
absolutely I have.
Yeah.
My next question was, how did you go from writing about cars to someone then putting you in front of the camera?
So I was really good friends with a journalist called Tom Ford, who works on Top Gear, and he worked on Car magazine at the time. I got a job on Car, and we bonded because I parked in his car parking space, and I had a lowrider Ford Granada at the time, as you would.
Great sentence again.
Yes, and he came storming into the office and went, "Who the f*** owns a jade green Ford Granada that's on the deck?" And I went, "Oh, hi, it's me." And it was like my first day, I think. And he went, "That's brilliant. Anyway, you've parked it in the wrong place. You need to move it." And we became really good friends. He got a job on Fifth Gear TV. Now, fast forward, I don't know, maybe 2 years or something. I met his producer at the Geneva Motor Show, and we were just having a chat because I was there reporting for print media. And then they went, oh, they're looking for another presenter, and he'd like to have a chat with you at the office someday. I was like, yeah, okay. And then I ended up being invited for lunch. I've said this story a few times, but my invited for lunch was I turned up at North One Studios, or their car park, and he said, I'll come out and meet you. And he came out and met me with a rolling camera and mics. And I was like, oh, right.
Yeah, bastard.
And he went, right, so we're rolling. Tell me about the car that you've turned up in for 10 minutes. Go. And that was my audition for TV.
Wow.
I didn't really know it, but that was what it was.
What car was it?
Luckily, it was a car I actually knew something about. It was the then just launched Mark V Golf GTI.
Oh, cool.
Which is still a really special car to me because it was a massive deal at the time.
Yeah.
And it was a genuinely good car. And so I always see a Mark V GTI, which is probably thought of as a classic car now. And I go, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember it being a really poignant, it was a white one with tartan, with the Ninja Death Star alloys, as I called them. And it was great. And luckily I knew what to say. If I didn't know what to say, I don't think I would have got a job on the TV.
Yeah, luckily you didn't get given a Hyundai that day before, and you're like, oh, shit.
Just something I didn't know or care about.
Yeah.
Gone, yeah, it's just a car, mate. I don't know. They'd have gone, this guy's a bit twat. Don't think
which did you prefer? Did you prefer going from writing to the video stuff, or is it all does it all have its benefits, sort of each one?
It does all have its benefits. I felt a bit fraudulent for a while because I got so busy with TV and I tried to still write as a freelancer, doing columns or doing the odd bit just to keep my hand in, because I thought if I stop doing that, then I'm not being true to my original training and my original roots. And then a couple of friends in the industry who'd, again, they'd sort of meandered and they went, no, just go with it. Like, the world changes. If you're a pig farmer and then you realize no one wants pigs anymore and you're better off storing 911s, just store 911s.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. So I then went, okay, yeah. So I stopped writing pretty much and just went headlong into TV and doing presenting. And now the same, I sort of went headlong into YouTube. And because it's so all-consuming, I thought, if I'm going to do it, I've got to just do it like full gas.
Yeah.
And that was it. I did quit. I kind of said thanks, but no thanks to the TV, and went, I know I can't do these two things together.
Yeah.
So I'm going to risk it and just go for it.
And that there are not many people who go from doing sort of written journalism into TV and then onto YouTube, but do it quite successfully.
Yeah.
You do see it with some sort of celebrities or people from TV where they almost get told they need to be on YouTube and they go on and it never quite feels natural.
Yeah.
Whereas with you, it does feel quite natural. You'll probably have some people that watch your channel and go, and if they found out that you were a journalist before, that would be news to them, if you know what I mean. They would see you on YouTube first and then find out about the backstory. So I think that's quite impressive.
I had somebody who watched my stuff on YouTube for a long time before going, that's that guy that used to be on TV, but now he just looks much older. I'm like, the hell?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's like, of course I'm older, yes.
That's what time does.
That's what time does. But I guess that's the thing, because it's a global platform and it's always on. And people, different demographics of people. And I'm really interested in that. You have I've got children and my daughter's going to be driving this year, which is just terrifying. The stuff they think is old cars, classic cars, interesting cars is probably different to me.
Yeah.
And I get to meet people who watch or listen to the podcast or whatever they might do, and they have a totally different perspective. They're a totally different demographic, different age group. And I find that all really interesting. And of course, you're always trying to stay current. Not because you're like, hey, look at me. I don't like crave attention, but because it's a business, it's my business.
Yeah, you have to.
I have to come up with things that people might be interested in.
That's adapt or die. Is the classic adage. It makes sense. Same on YouTube. If you're pulling up like 2016 YouTube car spotter in 2026, it's not going to go well for you.
Top 10 lists.
Yeah. Doing ranking lists.
I'd love to do a list.
Speaking of lists, great. You have had over 120 cars, you say?
Yeah, it's probably about 160 now.
What's the one that got away?
What, that I owned but I had to sell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
there's been a few. I think one that I regret selling the most is probably one I couldn't physically fit in it. So that took the shine off the ownership a little bit, which is the Honda S600 Coupe.
Yeah.
Which is mega, like the godfather of the VTEC. But I had a Polski Fiat 126, which I sort of bought as a bit of on a whim, as a bit of a laugh. But I bought it unseen, and it was absolutely immaculate. Like, it was so good, and I paid not a lot for it. And it was like, whoa, all I've got to do is just clean it and drive it. It was miraculous. And I got told to sell it at a few years later, and I regret it because I don't think I'll ever find a better one.
Yeah.
And although of course they're a bit shit, they're enjoyably shit. So yeah, I miss that car. And there have been a few others where I've had to sell in order to trade up.
To get to the next one.
Always been trading up. And that's why I own so many cars when I was in my 20s mostly. I'd be buying a car probably every 2 to 4 weeks. And flip it, you'd say flipping now. I probably would, but this is the early days, like the gold rush era of eBay.
Yeah.
2001.
Look at exclamation mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Asterisk, look at this, asterisk.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to buy stuff out of the print paper, like the AdMart and the Ad Trade and all those things, the yellow papers. And then I would go and buy it, take digital pictures of it, take forever to upload the digital pictures, write a really good description using my best journalist mind so that nobody had any other questions.
But they would have questions, of course.
They would have
it's
questions
eBay.
like, does it have tyres? Yeah.
Is this a car?
Yeah, honestly, just like real absolute pricks. And then I would double my money. So I would always be like, right, 100% profit, 100% profit, 100% profit. That was always my model. And I did that on the side because I didn't earn that much money from journalism. So but it also allowed me to own stuff that I could just tick off a list and go, yeah, Alfa Romeo, Alfa Sud. Yeah, I've owned one of them. Yeah, I only owned it for 4 weeks, but I've owned it.
Yeah, you got the ownership out of it.
Yeah, and I miss doing that. I've got too many responsibilities now and too many outgoings, so I don't do it so much. But
and then my follow-up to that question was, what car do you wish you still had for YouTube reasons? Like, what would have been a great content car from one of those 120?
Shit. It's probably the EV that I built into the world's quickest street legal electric car, which I got that record 10 years ago. And I think I probably was a bit early.
I remember watching that.
Yeah.
This was at Car Throttle. Yeah, it would have been an early days Car Throttle and seeing it. And there wasn't that much coverage on the car.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's criminal, really. It took me a long time to build that. And it was a lot of trouble and strife. And so I bought that car in 2012, took 3 years to get it on the road and finished and powered up. And a lot of shed R&D. And then, just decided to try and get a record with it and really enjoyed the process of it. And I missed that car, but I had to sell it to recoup the costs of racing it.
Really?
Because I would run out of money. And Elon Musk wasn't going to give me any money. Elon Musk didn't even have the Model S out when I first started that. Yeah, so it predates the Model S. It predates Formula E, any kind of proper electric racing that anybody knows about.
So they owe you royalties.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, they do actually. Well, Musk didn't beat my record for at least 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. No.
What did it take until the later Model S, the dual motor Model S?
Yeah, and I think in between that, either Ford or GM. I think GM built a hot Camaro EV, which was like just a prototype-y PR stunt, and that beat me. But I found out that was running on slick, so it was like, oh, that's not a street car then. But it is in Vegas. But hey, not over here. And I always said it has to be street legal.
Yeah.
Because if it's street legal, it's more ballsy and there's more parameters.
Yeah, it's not just like, unlimited budget.
Yeah, you can't just wind it all up and just go, yeah, whatever. So this thing had to be a street car. And I missed that car because it was unhinged.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have worked, and it did.
Yeah.
And it was mega fast.
That's also, I guess, kind of a perfect essence of you is...
It shouldn't have worked.
Well, no,
it did.
willing to do EV stuff where everyone else will shy away from it, because that's one of your mottos, right? You say you're the bridge between a charger
V8 and EV.
And an EV,
yeah,
but in some old tat that no one really knows what they are anymore.
No,
and yet there it is doing silly times down a drag strip.
Well, I guess that was the idea was, if I'm going to drag race an EV and ruffle some feathers, what car am I going to use? And I thought, I don't want to use a car that had a piston engine. I'll find a car that was an EV that nobody remembers or cares about. and then try and anchor the whole thing on this underdog, this weird little ugly duckling underdog, which was what it was. But then I delved into the history and became a bit obsessed with it. And then when I found out that it had a really strong link, engineering link to Thrust 2, the fastest car in the world, I was like, this has got to happen. And I contacted the engineer that worked on both projects. And he was like, oh yeah, this is a great idea. He said, you'll find that it's really aerodynamically stable at probably the speed you're going to go at, because I over-engineered it. And I went, okay, well, we'll see about that.
Also, why? For like 40 years, he was probably sitting there going, nobody knows about that. And then you rung up one day and he went, perfect, great.
Honestly, he was a lovely guy. Bless him, he's no longer with us. But he wrote a book and I bought a copy off him, and he wrote a really nice letter inside it when I started racing it. And so I'd like, one day, if I could, I might buy it back.
That would be cool.
And revamp it.
Get some plaid motors in it and go silly.
Yeah. But of course, the boundaries have been pushed even further.
Yeah, exactly.
Now. So 10 years on, I'm going to have to go seriously quick.
It's just going to need to be an exoskeleton of cage around it to keep yourself safe.
Yeah, because my car was medium safe, not extra safe.
Medium rare safe.
If I was really small, it's like the packaging of a tall person in that car was difficult.
Yeah.
So if I'd been 5 feet tall, it would have been better. But that's not the way it
Quick
goes.
surgery beforehand, and then you're all good.
Yeah. And my R&D consisted of sometimes bits that did actually fall off it. And we were like, right, so that fell off at 100. So over 100, we're going to have to make sure that doesn't fall off again, because I lost a window and it went into a fun fair. Luckily, it was an election window, but nevertheless, it did frisbee off and it went into a fun fair, and we had to find the guy in the fun fair who found it.
Oh God!
How many times did you go into a fun fair and go, one of you has got my car window?
Yeah,
it's plastic.
Can I have it back?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. The one that's the one. Has impaled this child. That's not my window. It's not mine. How did the relationship with Rich Porter and the podcast come about?
So me and Rich Porter, which your viewers, listeners might know, Rich obviously been on Top Gear for years, and I met him at a Geneva Motor Show press evening, like when we all the journalists would gather in together the night before the big press day.
Piss up.
Yeah, there was a lot of drinking. And that was it. We actually met at a bar. And I think we were talking about people soiling themselves. We were talking about something really stupid. One thing led to another, and we started to email here and there or text one another here and there. And we always said, he was wedded to Top Gear and I was wedded to Fifth Gear. So it was like, we'd love to work on something at some point, but it won't be formal.
Yeah.
It'll be informal. But I think our personalities did mesh. We had a lot of connections, and it took a long time, like 4 years, to even do anything. And then we just decided to do a prototype dick about on video, which was actually at Pebble Beach, which I think was 2009. Which sadly all the footage got lost. That's how useless we are. We lost probably the most crucial piece of footage, which was us in a golf cart going around a Pebble Beach golf course and getting it stuck on in the sand on the beach, and then we had to get like adults to help us dig it out. And I was going to do it all and set it all to the theme tune of the Thomas Crown Affair, where Steve McQueen is going across the beach with the beach buggy and all the seagulls going everywhere. But alas, it didn't happen. And then we decided to do a video of us together, which was just us sitting in a car, driving around, like a kind of carpool, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I said, in my best hopes always were, if you've seen The Trip with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, it's like a rubbish, more car-centric version of that. That was always my hope. But then COVID came along and we decided to go straight to audio only through necessity, and it became vastly more successful.
Well, the right at the beginning, was that before COVID or during COVID when you did the driving around London looking at cars? Because that was on video.
That was on video.
Because that I remember that vividly. I was like, this is great. This is essentially I think what a lot of people listening or watching were like, this is what I do with my mates.
Yes.
It's that feeling of familiarity of, this is just watching two mates dick about.
Yeah.
Driving around.
Well, we sort of did a few of them, and then we did one better shot version, and we did that to try and get a sponsor so that we could, because it lost us money. We paid for it out of our own separate earnings, from our main jobs. And then it took us about a year and a half to go, this is costing us money every month. Why are we actually doing it? We didn't know why we were doing it. We were doing it because we just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then gradually it went like, okay, people start to actually pay for it now. And we have Patreon and advertising. We actually started a business. But it took a long time.
Yeah.
It took years.
But I think you find that with YouTube a lot, is 9 times out of 10, the things that start out of people just wanting to do it tend to pick up better than the people go, this is a business, let's start a business podcast, or, if there's too much pressure behind it. Yeah. Whereas when it's just dicking about and then you go, oh, there's actually, some of you idiots are listening to this. Perfect.
And people quite like that as well, because they look at it and go, well, they're not being forced to do this. No. It's not a job for them. I'm just getting this because that's what they'd be doing anyway.
The podcast for us was always just a bit of a release because it was not we never did anything serious. As you know, a lot of car podcasts are quite serious. They talk about the latest news and, analysing the review of a new car or whatever. And we were like, nah, we're going to talk about buying trousers from service stations and stuff. And so we just went off on this weird tangent, never expecting it to be successful at all. And I think in the darkest moments of all of what's happened over the last 5-6 years, I found it to be like a really nice hour of mental cleanse of well, I can't go to the pub because of the constraints of coronavirus. So I'll just talk to Rich. And I was drinking probably most of the time while we were recording. I think people thought I was at home constantly drinking, and I showed them I'm not like, I didn't have a problem.
Every day.
This was just my hour off of I'm going to have some wine, I'm going to talk to Richard, that's that. Yeah.
Oh, going back to the fifth gear thing, obviously like growing up, you had fifth gear and Top Gear, and there was, I always felt like there was some kind of like rivalry. Top Gear was always like the more like broad appeal, my mum would watch it, that kind of thing. But fifth gear, if you were into cars, that was kind of the thing you watched. Was behind the scenes, was there ever any kind of rivalry of some sort?
No. When Jeremy mentioned about the Cool Wall got burnt down,
studio,
and he casually said, oh well, we know who it is, it's fifth gear. Obviously that was just a little quip, and the number of people that thought it had really happened, we got hate mail, we got people saying you're just jealous of their success, but of course the industry's not that big. So a lot of the camera operators and sound operators and researchers worked on both teams. We had cameramen who filmed for Top Gear one day, and then 2 days later they were filming with us. Yeah. So the game it looked like a huge industry, but it wasn't. And Tiff and Vicky had worked extensively with Jeremy, so they're friends. And so no, there wasn't. I mean, I've still never met Jeremy. Never. Really? I've never met Clarkson. It's weird. I mean, like my podcast partner, like wrote everything that came out of his mouth for 25 years. I've still not met the guy. It's ludicrous. We've been in the same room and stuff, and I'm sure he doesn't give a flying shit about me. But it'd be nice to meet him because he changed our game, as we know. Yeah, and he was one of the few people I was allowed to stay up late and watch when I was a child, watching old Top Gear, like 90s Top Gear with Tiff. And that was the weird thing for me about when I started working on Fifth Gear was I was working with Tiff Nadell. Yeah. Like as a job. And I never thought that would happen. And he's such a nice guy.
I was going to say, is that one of the first times you felt a bit, not necessarily starstruck, but was that one of the first kind of big stars that you kind of worked with?
Him and Vicky. Because it's like, they know what they're doing. Yeah. And when you get a slight imposter syndrome, you're like, I don't quite know what I'm doing. I've got a bit of an idea, but shit, I don't really know what I'm doing. I felt that. And I knew I couldn't drive anywhere near as well as them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't.
It's like, hang on, you got Plato, you got Vicky, you got Tiff. They're all like proper Helms people.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I didn't kart when I was a kid or anything like that. So
we actually found we've been sent it a few times. It's an old Fifth Gear. I think it is Tiff Nadell, isn't it?
It's
it's Tiff. It's the trying to get an Esprit to hit 200 miles an hour.
Oh wow!
And it turns out that was done at our unit.
Yeah. Oh.
So our unit, it looks very old and a bit, sort of, worse for wear back then. It looks like an old equestrian unit, but it cuts to a shot where this Esprit comes in and there's TVRs everywhere, and it's our unit. Well, it's actually just next door, but it's the same set of units.
That's brilliant.
Because I think is it Fifth Gear Classic or something? I can't remember. They've just started like posting sections of Fifth Gear on YouTube.
Oh wow!
And then all the comments are like, "Hang on, is that not the TDC unit?"
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's very odd. There was one of my a vivid memory was the W124 that you tried to kill, the unsinkable, or the one that you sunk.
Oh yes.
You then bought that afterwards, right? Or that was your car? Wasn't there something to do with that becoming yours?
I had a W124, the one that I ran on vegetable oil on chip fat.
Yeah,
and that was a saloon, a red saloon. And then we bought a 124 Estate, which a monster truck went over. I'm pretty sure Vicky. I really was angry about that shoot because I had a 123 at the time or a 124. My brother had a 124, I had a 123. We had numerous ones. And I was like, that's too good.
Yeah.
That's too good to do that. But of course, TV being TV, like, well, we just need to get it done. It's fine. We only paid
a couple £100, yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, but I'll buy that off you. And but I did buy the 124, which was the very first thing I did on Fifth Gear.
Really?
Driving that car, showing people that you could run it on chip fat. Yeah, and that was 20 years ago. That was 2006.
Wow.
Which is terrifying to think that I did that 20 years ago.
But do you ever watch them back, or do you ever see them come up and you sit and watch them and go, oh, that's actually really cool. I have this moment of my life captured. Because I think about that a lot of this. If, in 20, 30 years, to be able to look back and go, that's when we did that. That's really cool. I have that footage.
I think, yes, I am. If I get the chance to see Fifth Gear stuff, yeah. I think, because it's quite a long time ago now, I don't like watching my own YouTube stuff. It's still too new.
Yeah.
And I never listen to my podcast back. I genuinely can't remember what I talk about. It's like sleep talking and then someone going, do you remember that time you were talking about the thing? And I'm like, not really. When was that? And it's terrible, really. But so Richard often listens to them back because he does some like admin and cuts out any horrible things, which there's not a lot. Most of it stays in. But I never hear it. I never listen to it. So, but I think, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the stuff I did on the TV. I was lucky. I was fortunate to get that job, and I was fortunate to keep it for more than 6 months. I genuinely thought I've got a shot at this. If I get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 episodes on the telly, that's great. A lot of people might not get that chance. And then it went on. It went on and on and on, and I got 18 series. I did 18 series, which again is a lot of series.
Yes, a long time.
I actually genuinely can't remember all the things I did. I cannot remember them all. There were some bad ones. There were some good ones.
Well, that was going to be part of the next question is whether it was for TV or beforehand on the magazine or even on YouTube, what's the most ridiculous thing you've done in the name of content? Other than maybe the jump?
Yeah, the Dukes of Essex jump, which gets talked about. Probably that bonnet up there for a Cavalier, the Goldie-looking chain Cavalier. Did some stuff in America with BBC America with Tom Ford. We did a series called Mud, Sweat and Gears. And again, I've never watched any of that stuff back. And I had a Pontiac Aztec, which we modified, and we did quite a big jump in that. And it still ran. Don't know how it ran after that big jump. It definitely was gradually losing automatic fluid. So we did various things like that. And there were a few moments on Fifth Gear where we were like, oh, this could be a bit dangerous. Should we have done this?
And how many people are there telling you not to do it, or what the sort of limitations there? Because with YouTube, although there is, there is a general consensus for things you can or can't do, but there's no one usually above you saying, no, you can't do that. Because you're not pitching an idea to someone and then saying, I'm going to jump a car off of a block of flats.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we wanted to do that tomorrow, we probably could. It wouldn't be a great idea.
Ben is the only person. Will and I are a vacuum chamber. Will goes, we should do this. I go, yeah, and then we should do this. And Will goes, yeah, we should. And Ben goes, whoa, okay, no. You're going to die.
Yeah.
You won't be alive at the end of this.
Yeah. I mean, that is the thing. That's the great thing in a way about YouTube. You two can have an idea and 10 minutes later you can stream it to the world if you wanted. Back then, there were a few layers. Like insurance, most of it was insurance, and actually after Richard Hammond nearly died in the vampire drag car, that the game changed very quickly.
So even for you as well, it changed your guys' side as well.
Yeah, we were pulled into a meeting. It was like the industry changed overnight.
Wow,
probably because of insurance and liability and all that kind of thing. So we had to, even if we were buying a car to intentionally crash with nobody in it. So when we used to do the crash tests on Fifth Gear.
Yeah, the Focus one is the
Focus.
Yeah.
Right, so that Focus, we knew no one was going to be in it and was going to get absolutely launched into a wall. But we had to prove for insurance purposes we were buying it with an MOT. So it was a road legal car.
Right.
I said, this is just ludicrous. So we went and bought a really ropey Focus. It had an MOT. It also had like junkie needles in it. I remember,
Really?
yeah, it was properly ropey, that car. It's horrible. I didn't want to get in that car. I did drive it very short distance, like to the bit where you prep a car to die. But so you had, there were more protocols than ever after that. And I still can't believe that Hammond survived that.
Yeah.
And made a pretty full recovery as far as I know. Gradual. But yeah. And then did another crashy thing. Didn't he? He's done a few crashes.
A few crashes after that. Just everyone doing
good
other
measure.
TV shows going, oh, for God's sake,
Can you
we're not going to be able to do anything.
Yes.
No.
I
Just
know.
trundling down a runway at 20 miles
It
an
would
hour.
be like carpool karaoke, where it turns out they're not driving. It's on one of those rigs.
CGI.
Like, all of you just on rigs driving around.
I like all the when I was in magazines and things, and I always like the dangerous stuff. I don't take ridiculous risks, but I do like taking risks in cars and
But
stuff.
that's where the content is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise people can do it themselves, if that makes sense. If there's someone else who's willing to do it. It's the reason I always think Jackass did so well.
Yeah,
Because no one else was willing to go and do that.
No.
So it's interesting to watch.
yeah, completely. I
There's
loved
been-
Jackass at the time.
Yeah. What was the other one? Was it Welsh?
Yeah,
Dirty
Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
God.
was like the British version of it.
It was more
but-
extreme in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Semi-related, what is the worst bodge you've done to a car?
Oh,
Or
God.
best, it depends how you read that, that question.
Yeah. Well, I've driven that with no brakes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that was a bodge. It was you're late to a shoot. I was late to a fifth gear shoot, and I had full brake failure in that, driving to Bruntingthorpe Proving Ground. And I had to abort the mission and go straight into a field because there was a corner which I knew I couldn't get around. And luckily the gate was open. It'd just been cut. It was like a cornfield. So I just went straight into it like some sort of shit Dukes of Hazzard and went around in a big circle to scrub all the speed off, and then came to a halt and was like, right, that is not cool. What's gone wrong here? I lifted up the bonnet and was looking around, and it chafed through a brake hose, and it's not dual circuit.
Oh, wow. So
Single
it's-
circuit.
everything went.
So it just bled out. So I drove the rest of the way on the handbrake. But the handbrake's one of those ones you press on and pull off.
Oh,
It's an
lovely. Yeah.
absolute horror. I mean, so it was really awful. The whole thing was awful. I got there just white as a sheet, a little bit late. Director's like, come on, we're late. We're like, I've nearly died. Just bear with me.
You handbraked into
Yes, it was really horrible.
Where's Johnny again?
Yeah.
jumps in, falls out.
So
And then
that was bad.
repair-wise, any notable ones on repairs?
I'm trying to think of some. I've done some terrible ones when I didn't have any money.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, I remember my brothers bought things like brake pads out of scrap yards rather than new brake pads. Not a great idea. I have driven on some quite questionable wheel bearings that were very vocal,
Yeah.
extremely vocal.
I'm doing that right now.
Are you?
My 159 it's humming.
Is it?
Yeah, and I just crank the music up and hope that the wheel doesn't just lock solid and come off.
And watch your wheel come past you. Oh, hello, mate.
I think that car, the Goldie looking chain Chevalier, I had to drive it into London to promote the single they were releasing, Your Mother's Got a Penis. And not often you get to say that in your life, really. And as part of the promo, we were moving from one location to another. There were lots of people dressed up in sort of Burberry gear, and I had their manager in the passenger seat of the Cavalier, and someone ran a red light and drove straight into the back of us at quite fast speed. It was a van driver who was looking the wrong way. I hit my head on the steering wheel. I remember that, so my belt clearly didn't retract properly. I just remember going, "Did and then going, God, that happened so fast. And then I looked round and he'd done the same thing on the dash. And then we were like, are you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. And then I got out of the car to just work out what had happened. But we'd been hit. We'd gone into the car in front, and the car in front had stopped to let an old lady across the road and had just missed the old lady because it had been smacked. Anyway, the back of this Cavalier was not horizontal. It was now vertical. So it still looked like a Cavalier, but it had like a tail, like a scorpion. And And I was like, oh, I can't be bothered to get it recovered back from London. This is me just being an idiot. So I just sort of started the car and went, still starts. Still kind of has lights-ish. There's some lights.
They're just higher up at the moment.
Yeah. So I dropped the manager back off at the record label and I drove it back to Peterborough with the back of the car like that. And it had been properly smashed. So that wasn't a great thing
also,
to do.
In a normal Cavalier, okay, fine. But in a car that is quite literally tartan, like everyone's already looking at the car and they're like, why has it also been in a crash?
Yes, and a real crash, not just a little one. I've got a photo somewhere of it. It was a proper crash. That car refused to die, but we had to kill it for legal reasons afterwards. But I remember we started up with the foot on the throttle fully down to try and do an engine blow video.
Yeah.
This is in the very early days where you post onto a forum because there wasn't smartphones and social media, and it wouldn't blow up. It sat on the limiter for I think 10 minutes, which is a long time from cold.
Oil temp, just like, yeah, no, I'm lovely now.
And there was smoke coming out from under the car. We're like, it's going to catch fire. And what it was is it had burnt all of its exhaust hangers. They were all on fire, but the engine was fine. It was just going, I'll take it. Keep punching me. I'll take it. It was so impressive. 10 minutes of it doing that. It's horrible.
Yeah.
What's the most bizarre owner story that hasn't made it to camera, or you deliberately kept away from camera?
There was a guy on witness protection once, and who contacted me. This was in magazine days. Who wanted his car featured, but couldn't be featured, and he didn't tell me why. He was being a bit cagey, and he was an older guy, like a sensible guy, and he had I don't know if I should say what car it was, but it was quite a distinctive car as well, which is just, it was a real sleeper. It was a Ford Cortina Estate that had like a primer front wing, and it had an aerial that had been shaped into a cock and balls.
Okay.
like a coat hanger aerial.
Yeah.
And it was running really high power Cosworth YB.
Cool.
It was like 400 horsepower, which at the time was enormous for that engine. And but he was on witness protection, it turns out. So we were like, well, how are we going to do this? Because you're the owner and you want to drive it. So we came up with a treatment that we would put him into prosthetics and pretend to be someone that he wasn't as part of a feature. So yeah, that's what we did.
But that did make it out. So that is out there in a magazine somewhere.
That is out there.
A man in prosthetics.
Yeah,
it was
on witness protection. It just is still to this day. It's like, so why would you even risk contacting me?
Yeah.
To have a car featured on what was at the time, and this is the thing, if you don't know about Max Power, it was the biggest selling car magazine in Europe. It outsold every other car magazine.
Insane.
By quite a large margin.
Now, do you think that's because of the content or the content that was in there?
Well, it did get a bit skin flicky.
Because growing up, I was born in 97.
Yeah.
And my brother was born in 88.
Yeah.
So my brother had lots of Max Powers. And so I used to steal his Max Power growing up. And I was like, what's this? This is incredible.
You weren't looking at Novas.
I was on the back 3 pages.
With neon kits.
No. I was usually looking at the event recaps, which tends to have the best photos in there.
They were I'm not proud of some of those. It was a different time.
Yeah.
But I remember you would go to a cruise night, which was organised by forums, or we'd just put it in the mag. We'd print a date and saying, we're going to be in Liverpool on that night. Come if you want. So, and it was absolute feral carnage. Some of them were just so feral. Some of them were so bad or good, depending on that roads got closed. People would steal cars and turn up in stolen cars, and you always knew those because they were being donutted, and they were burnouts until there were no tires, and it was carnage. And then the police would come, and then we'd get the blame. But it's like, no, we don't know who they are, and sometimes people would take their clothes off. That used to happen as well. So it was thinking back, it was just madness. It needs a book. It deserves a book. It's just so crackers, some of that. But I came onto Max Power probably towards the end of the madness. I didn't invent that madness.
Yeah.
There were some much more talented journalists who came up with this idea of Max Power.
We've got the DVD. Well, sorry, we haven't got the DVD anymore. We do. We got some copies left over. The DVD that came with our FTO that we bought that was very Max Power.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cars in there.
Yes.
But there's a lot of other stuff in there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of naked men.
Naked men.
There's a lot of naked men.
Now there's a real incredible scene in there that when we were watching it through, and it's something I never expected to see. Is a man who also you decided to put this in the DVD. This made the final cut.
Yes. Yes.
He moons the camera.
Yeah.
And then spreads his cheeks while mooning the camera. Like I've just been looking at a wide body Saxo. I'm now looking into a man's anus. Why is this
directly through him?
But then,
the moon has gone, hasn't it?
Yeah,
the mainstream moon isn't
a rarely seen emote.
Seldom seen moon.
And there were always two versions of them, and we're going off track a little. There was always the just pull the trousers down, show the slots, and then there was the full like.
That's what
this one was, and he had no top on either, so it was. He had gone into the full. He didn't need to do that to make it extreme, but
looking like an old dude in a changing room.
Yeah.
It's really rough. Out of nowhere.
I always wonder where those people are now. Are they just in a perfectly well-to-do job?
Yeah,
and no one knows about this. In the back of their mind, they're like, "That's on a DVD somewhere."
Yeah,
and thousands of people have now seen this.
And we gave away 400 of them to people.
But that was it was an interesting DVD to say the least.
The rave era. As was. So what, like 89 to 98, probably, golden era. Max Power almost lifted some of that madness from the rave era and mashed it with cars. And because I think the success of it is because no one communicated on their phones and there wasn't Instagram and there were early forums, but there were mostly magazines. People just got together to chat and showcase their cars, because I haven't seen your car because you've been working on it for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
So I come to the show to see your cars, and you do the same to me, or I'd sold you a pair of Kenwood 6x9s and you need to pick them up, or whatever it might be. So I just think it was this huge storm of that. And also the car was your first independence, of course, when you're young.
Yeah,
it's your own personal space.
It meshes with that like rave culture, because that's how you get to the rave.
That's how you get to the rave.
Is everyone piles it in over and goes on the way there.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very vibrant and exciting, and some of it was wrong and some of it was right. And I was just a mere observer.
Because that's why I also think, and it's sad to say, well, I don't think it's impossible for it to come back, but when everyone says let's bring it back, it won't ever be. It can't be what it was before, because there's too much now of, like, we walk around shows all the time. We go, I've seen that car. I follow that guy. I've seen that build.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was 17 and I'd turn up to the local McDonald's car park and I'd been working on my Mark IV Golf, I had no idea who else would be there.
No.
And some guy would turn up also on Porsche wheels. And I go, how do you do it? I did it by using these adapters.
Yeah.
And you actually find something out.
Yeah.
That kind of innocence has been robbed a little bit by media.
And people I think, a bit more risk averse.
Yeah.
Because there were people that would spend 15 grand on a £1,000 car. And it's mad, but it was a really interesting expression. There was it was peacocking, really. Yeah. But peacocking's just changed, hasn't it? And we noticed this shift, and it's what ultimately killed the Max Power era, is probably abundantly available finance.
I was going to say.
So you could go out and buy a Civic Type R, because the Civic Type R was like a really big shift moment. The EP3, is it the EP3?
Yeah.
Isn't it? When that car came out, it was like, oh my gosh, it's already mad. And yes, you can buy some slightly lighter wheels for it, or a slightly different front splitter or whatever, but it's out the box pretty crazy.
I never knew it at the time, but one of my dad's best mate, his son was an RC champion.
Oh.
He was good at racing remote control cars. And when I was 3 or 4, he had a Saxo VTR. So base engine, so not the VTS, but with it was a Max Power feature car.
Yeah.
It was repainted ice blue, full kit, exhaust like 15-inch, 1050. It was one of the ones that had the whole bumper was the exhaust.
Yes.
And it was 2 of those. And I remember being like, that's amazing. And he'd built this whole car up from scratch.
Yeah.
And then I think 6 months later, I went over and he had just a brand new 350Z.
Right.
Orange, for one of the first ones of the country.
Yeah.
And then an Exige, and then an Astra VXR.
Yeah.
But it was because of that. It was finance. He had found out that he could get rid of the Saxo and finance his way into a way better car.
Yeah.
And then he just kept trading up through those cars without ever modifying them. But I don't really remember those other cars, but I do vividly remember walking around the Saxo, age 4, going, whatever this is, this is it. This is me now. I'm going for this.
I feel a bit sad that we kind of missed out on I read about it growing up from like age 8 or something, all the way up into my teens. I was reading the magazines and going, this is what I want to do. But then by the time I could actually drive and do it, it wasn't really as much of a thing anymore. But you're just reading about Puntos and Saxos and normal stuff. That there used to be a car in my local area. I wish it's probably dead. Most of them are probably dead.
But it might not be.
It might be in someone's garage somewhere sitting, because we used to call it the bogey car because it was green. Me and my friend used to chase it round everywhere. We would see it, and it was a Saxo, and it had huge rectangular exhaust, like a perfect rectangle, twins that took up the entire width of the car. And I was like, that is amazing.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it was basically like your like TVR green. Imagine a blue but green.
Nice.
But just the most amazing thing. I was like, I want to be that when I grow up. But then it sort of started to fizzle out.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think, but what you're doing on your brand, your YouTube, and some of the other creators of like encouraging people to actually fiddle with cars, and not just buy stuff and detail it and go to Turkey and get new teeth, because that's all too easy. Frankly, I really admire YouTubers like you guys because I worry that is all just going to dissolve and disappear, and that everyone's just going to be like those people you see at the side of the road when a tire goes flat. They're just staring at it like it's space science. And I worry. So I love the encouragement of hands-on stuff, and long may it continue. And it means that people will go back in time and look at older cars and not be afraid and go, I fancy a car from the 80s. I've got no idea what I'm dealing with, but how hard can it be?
Yeah.
And just be more appreciative of that stuff.
Yeah, it is always worrying. Well, I always think about people who are young now, or people who are coming into learning to drive, is like how many of them are going to get into that. I mean, it is a little bit scary, but more people need to take a bit of not necessarily a risk, but just learn how to do that stuff.
Yeah, not be scared.
And you might enjoy that car way more because you've done. It doesn't mean doing engine swaps necessarily.
No.
I think that's where people get worried about it. They go, well, I could never do that because I'm going to have to take my engine out. I'm going to have to replace, my differential. But it's not necessarily that. Just understanding your car a little bit more might make you appreciate it. Just that tiny bit extra.
Completely. Or even if it's just so you don't get ripped off.
Yeah.
When you book your car in to have some stuff done, you've got a bit of knowledge as to what is going on. And I can't do engine swaps. I got brought up on old shitters, so I could do basics. And I enjoy doing a lot of stuff on cars. But I don't do engine swaps. And I save up and pay people to do that stuff who are much better at it than me.
But there's so many people out there who've tried stuff. We are lucky now that we have. Back then with sort of max power and fast car and that kind of thing, they were figuring it out. Obviously, there were people who had knowledge, but finding those people was much harder. Now you can just go on YouTube and someone's gone, I found you can replace this coil pack with this coil pack, and this one costs this much, or these wheels fit here. Whereas then it would have been, which is why it was so impressive. But I miss magazine era. Also, just seeing something in print is
something physical
so nice.
Makes the biggest difference. Like I would.
It's nice to hear this.
It's I think about it a lot when like we do YouTube stuff, and our views that we get is incredible compared to most things. But if my mum or someone saw like a friend in the news, in the local news, they go, they were on the news.
They're on the news.
But
and you're
on
like,
YouTube and you got 500,000, it doesn't matter. Whereas it's the same thing. We're on YouTube and I'm like, there's the views. If there was a photo of my car in a magazine, we have got an upcoming thing where we're touring some car collections, and there was a guy who owns Diablo SV, and his is the Express car. So he's got stacks of magazines. He's like, no, he keeps opening. He's like, no, that's my car.
It's sideways on a track.
Oh, that's amazing. You have a physical thing in the world that is your car. That's cool. Like no matter who you are, if you had a photo of your car in a magazine, that's cool.
It always felt very special. When you had when a magazine came back from the printers and it was like fresh, it was almost still warm, like a loaf of bread out the oven, and you'd all huddle around and go, And you'd hopefully not find any terrible mistakes. And you'd go through it and go, yeah. And then you knew in about 3 days it would go out to the world. And it always felt very special.
What was the worst mistake you found?
This was quite early on in my career. The designer had left some big gaps for captions for a show. It's like a car show. And so there's loads of car show photos and there's like a gap to write a nice caption. And she had just put down all of the lyrics for Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. And I had proofread it quickly and I hadn't clocked that all of that. I thought someone else had written them and gone, oh, they've already been written. Okay. Yeah. But it was just the lyrics of was it Benny King? It was a very old song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. And it made no sense.
People who bought the magazine went, what?
But also, in Max Power, I'd read it and go, all right, that makes sense. They're going for that. This is Otis Redding there
Otis Redding. I felt so bad. It was like, I've completely screwed that up.
It must be quite nerve-wracking because it's words and print. I know with YouTube videos, you can't do that much to edit afterwards, but you can change titles and do things and whatever else. I guess the benefit you kind of have with magazine is you don't have a load of comments below it saying, you've messed that up, can't believe you've messed that up, you got that wrong.
You get physical letters though.
That's almost, that might be worse.
Which is equal, because it makes sense. A YouTube video has a comment below it, whereas a physical media has a physical media letter attached to it. It comes back.
We used to get lots of letters from prison.
Really?
From Max Power did, not Car or any of the other mags I worked on, but Max Power had loads of prison letters. Mostly gone, we bought the issue with Lucy on the cover.
Oh, right. Can you get her back on?
She's lovely. What a lovely lady. And,
can you give me her address, please?
It was always relating to girls and a bit of the cars. And I think that became my problem with that mag, is it went too girl heavy.
Yeah.
I know it came off the back of the lads era of mags, FHM, nuts, loaded, all that stuff. And it was a moment in time. But I think it got the powers that be on Max Power got too fixated with the sort of girliness of it. And I was like, look, if you want that kind of stuff, if you want porn, people will just go and get porn.
Yeah.
Let's not dilute the car stuff too much, because you're wasting pages that could be good car stuff. And people didn't believe me. They were just like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, it's funny. No, I was like, no, really, like people are buying a car mag. Let's not forget that. But yeah, sadly.
We've always thought about potentially doing it, not necessarily a magazine.
What are you going to say next? Okay.
Not that. We've always thought about doing
about pulling the chicks completely apart.
Something that would go right on the top shelf. But doing some kind of cream print.
Yeah.
Either like an annual or a sort of quarterly thing. Because none of you might even buy it. We have no idea.
We
but just having something in print that we can go, this is
like a vanity project.
That is, it would just be really cool to
nice
have.
Little subsection, Ben's best holiday locations as tested.
Oh, completely. Yeah. Little postcards.
Ben's in the back on the back pages. It's just got a phone number you can call, and then Ben talks 30 to you for half an hour.
Those phone calls.
Some suggestive photos of Ben. We'll need to get.
I remember finding those pages as a kid and being like, "What? Do people call these?
Yeah.
Can you call these?"
Those guys made a mint.
Yeah.
They were they paid some of the most money to advertise in Max Power.
Someone was telling us that it might have been with the Diablo, either that or someone, that one of these cars was originally bought by someone who ran one of those companies.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah,
and it was like a 512 TR, or it was a Diablo, and it was someone who was running one of those companies and just had money for days.
Yeah.
It was like
just a grotty phone call mogul.
Yeah,
or whatever you would call them.
That's what they officially. That's what they're called.
That's on their HMRC.
LinkedIn.
It is something like it is that will be on their LinkedIn. Yeah, it was a completely different world.
No,
different.
You mentioned a potential Murcielago story.
Oh yeah,
because obviously, I don't want to age you too much, but you would have been professionally working when that car was launched.
That was clean. That was cleanly done. That was quite good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So I remember being on Car Magazine when we did Performance Car of the Year, which was the big shoot with all the heavy hitters of the year, from Hot Hatch all the way up to Supercar. And the year, I can't remember the year exactly, but I remember we had a Murcielago, and the guy who was like the guy that gave me the job actually on that magazine, he turned up at the shoot and rendezvoused with whoever brought the then really new Pagani Zonda. There was a Bentley Arnage T. There was a VX, might have been a VX 220.
Okay, so it was probably like 2002 or 3 then?
Yeah, it's really early 2000s. But the thing I remember vividly, I walked over to Mark, who was in the Murcielago. Door went up, and he went, "Have a look at this." And I went, "What?" And he went, "Yeah, so the gear stick snapped in half while I was driving up here." And I went, "What?" And he went, "Yep, I've taped it together. We gaffer taped the stalk, and we all had to drive it shifting really low near the base so that it didn't."
Got a short shifter.
Bear in mind, this was brand new. It was an
Yeah.
absolutely brand new car. And
That's
I don't
crazy.
think he drove it too aggressively in order to snap the gear stick, but it snapped. It just snapped.
Do you remember what colour it was?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Because I know there's a few early press cars on.
I
would
think
love to know where they are.
it was purple. I think it was
So it was Y1.
Wow.
Y1 was the one that was on the
Yeah.
original on the reboot of Top Gear. They did the Murcielago racing the Zonda. So
The Ophelia.
probably even the same. Yeah.
So
And the number plate was Y1 because there was a few different press cars, but I've been doing lots of. I've bought all the magazines that have
yeah,
all the original like Murcielago launch stuff in.
it's a seriously cool looking car.
Yeah, but it's quite funny to read them now. It's the same with the Gallardo as well, where the way people talk about them now is completely different then.
Yeah.
It was getting a lot of, and that's a lot of cars. If you read back some of these old magazines, the stuff that people go, that car's perfect.
Yeah.
And you read a magazine, everyone goes, that was shit.
Or
Yeah.
they
This
say,
is shit. This doesn't look very good. This
Oh, yeah,
is boring.
it's
Audi have
bland.
ruined this. This is bland. And now that sentiment has changed almost entirely, and no one remembers. And it's the same with the Gallardo that's coming up for auction. I think it'd be done by now. We talked about it last week, where they've used those of Clarkson comments where he's like, "This is the greatest. This is better than any Ferrari or 911
in the world."
But then if you watch the Top Gear review, he just slates it for 20
Yeah.
minutes, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just over time how much
550, when
It
it came
changes.
out, every single review I've seen of the 550 says it's not a very good looking car.
Yeah.
Whereas now people look at 550s and go, that was potentially some of the best Ferrari styling
Yeah.
of all time.
Because it was restrained.
Yeah, compared to the
Yeah.
Testarossa and everything that had
Yeah.
gone before it, it was
Yeah.
this weird bulbous looking, strange shape.
Yeah.
Now,
It's I think back to some of the cars that I drove new and now look at them compared to what we're being offered right now. And I do think, wow, that little did I know it, that was probably the golden era
Mm.
of that stuff. Look at things like Audi RSs, especially.
Yeah.
Aesthetically. This all gone so steroidy now.
I was going to ask
It's way too vapey for me.
because obviously
It's way too vapey.
obviously you're quite into electric stuff, whereas we're guilty of sort of hating on that. So I always
Yeah.
wonder if there is, we see electric and then the design is obviously, then it's all ruined at that
Yes.
stage. You go, well, obviously it's ugly, it's electric, when realistically it doesn't actually look that bad. But
Yeah.
are there any modern cars or modern car designs that interest you now?
Yeah, there are a lot of modern cars that interest me, but it's getting harder.
Yeah.
Mm.
I stopped reviewing as many new cars as possible because I realised there's a lot of stuff which is just not that interesting.
Yeah.
And also, I thought to myself, well, hang on a minute. I've got my traditionally my hobby was always old cars, and my job was newer stuff. And then there would be a meeting point in the middle, and that was pretty much how the Late Break Show channel was born. I thought I'll push all this together. But new cars. There is some good stuff, but it's hard. It's hard to find what I think to be genuinely good or interesting cars. And some of them, I say this to people who just say no to electric, full stop. I say, well, there's good electric cars and there's not very good ones. But we're also in an era where there's a lot of shit piston cars.
Yeah.
They're
absolutely.
not. They're being made to fit into to meet a certain parameter, which is unrealistic, or the longevity of them is questionable, or the build qualities. Or for me, whether it's middle-aged man syndrome, it's the whole like big car with shit interior cabin packaging.
That's tiny.
Got a massive car with a tiny boot, and the back passenger space is worse than, I don't know, a Corsa from 1995. That's not progress.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not progress. And it happens a lot. It's mostly the Beetle-backed SUVs. I have instant rage for those. So you can say what you want about EVs, and some of them are those Beetle-backed pieces of shit, but it doesn't matter what about propulsion. It's about the packaging of the car.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people get too caught up in it's this or that.
Yes.
You've got to pick a side.
Oh, it's so
Whereas
tribal.
you can understand that if you live in a city or you don't do many journeys, an electric car does make some sense to a lot of people, where a petrol car doesn't. But it's hard to. Also, like I said, it's tribal. People go,
it's very tribal.
I am petrol car through and through, and I am probably mostly in that camp because the cars that make me feel something are the ones that make a noise.
Yeah.
But there's 90% of petrol and diesel cars are fairly boring.
Yeah.
Of the modern stuff anyway. So
especially commuter / sensible family stuff.
And then on the flip side, there are, like when the Renault 5 came out, objectively that's a cool looking car.
Yeah.
If you're into cars, that's a cool car.
It is a cool car.
But yet there are still people, and even when we looked at it, and we're not married to the idea of liking or disliking EVs, we were like, this is a cool looking thing.
Yeah.
And there are still people like, no, not cool. If they brought out a 1 litre 3-pot, they'd go, yeah, cool, I like that now.
Yeah.
But it's the same looking thing. You can still appreciate the design of the thing. We said it as well with the Grande Panda.
Yeah.
It's a cool looking little thing.
It is a great car.
Cool, fine.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have an engine. You can still you don't have to go, hate it. No, that I know it's got electric, I hate it. Makes no sense.
I have people who say you can't be a proper car enthusiast because you drive an electric car. And I go, well, I drive an electric car. And the money that car saves me, I spend more on that.
Yeah.
And I spend more on that, and I buy that over there. So that is my yin and yang there. Would I drive that every day? No, I sodding well wouldn't. I'd probably have brake failure at some point. But also, the love would probably...
wane a little bit.
It would. I'd be like, I don't want to do another journey in that now.
A lot of people don't understand that. It's keeping cars special on a weekend,
reward.
on
That's
the right day,
car.
for the right thing. Yeah, it
completely.
When you drive it every day, you start to realize all of its flaws start to become a problem.
Yes.
Whereas the flaws when you just go out on a Saturday morning, it doesn't matter because it's got a massive V8 or it sounds incredible. But I still think...
Do women like wearing stiletto heels every day of the week?
No, yeah.
I mean, they might not at all, and that's fine. But those shoes are designed for a certain feel-good factor on a certain night or whatever it is. That's the same as this stuff. That's the way I see it in 2026 anyway.
We'll ask Ben about the stilettos. So.
How do they make you feel?
The C5s are still really cheap as well.
They're really cheap.
Are they?
I looked at them for sale, and again, this is probably the worst of the worst, but they're like sub 10 grand. I saw one for like 7.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they are just still catastrophically expensive to run.
And the parts are gone. There are no parts.
Audi are dreadful for the sort of heritage stuff, basically.
Well, I was speaking to RE Performance about this.
Yes.
Ricky, maybe we should put this to a wider audience. You guys got a big audience. Porsche know their audience. You can buy all classic Porsche parts. BMW
same.
Loads. Mercedes have always made everything for every Mercedes. What is Audi doing?
Yeah. It's 10 years, Ricky said. The moment a car, the last model, the last one off the line, has reached 10 years old, every part gets discontinued. And then you're just down to what is left in the stores.
It completely devalues the used car, especially a car like that. The RS6 that we've got, the V10 one.
Yeah.
They will keep tanking in value because no one will ever want to maintain it.
Yeah.
When you have to spend £3,500, £3,200, whatever it is, on injectors.
Yeah.
No one's going to want to stomach that on a 10 grand car.
No.
So that it will end up becoming a 5 grand car and a 3 grand car.
We got
until it is,
the Archliner. The Archliner we got was the last in the world in stock. The 4 arms that we bought, those were £1,000 for 4 tiny little arms that hold the top cross member in. Like those are just wear and tear items.
Yeah, and they've gone.
£1,000.
Dampers, we asked about dampers. They said we can get you a front right.
Yeah, they said
front left. We stopped making in
front
October
right.
Or
they were
something.
like last one in the country. The light, they said there's one left in the world if you need that. Just crazy.
They actually suggest to go and look on eBay.
Yeah, she told me, she was like, I asked about the light. She said, you can have a look. There are usually some like people in Lithuania that have 1 or 2 for sale. Go have a look there. You might find one.
But listen, Audi, if you want to propagate this amazing heritage that you've got, you need to make some of that. And also, P.S., I know that profits on modern cars is hard these days. So start making profits on old bits for people like us. Because like, I know the original Audi, the UR Quattro, some of the bits on that are unobtainium. And it's a real shame because they're good cars.
And it makes sense because a lot of, again, we talked about the electric car versus petrol car thing or sort of newer cars, but it makes sense to keep an older car running for a lot of people anyway.
Totally.
And maybe not an RS6, C6 doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but if someone wanted to keep that car on the road rather than go and buy a new one or a 2 or 3 year old one, there has to be some money in selling them some parts that isn't ridiculous.
Yeah.
Completely. Well, and that is the greenest thing, isn't it? I mean, that's I grew up in a family where my mum and dad bought a brand new car in 1976, and we got rid of it 1999 or the millennium.
Nice.
Well, I was driving by that point. I was an adult by
Yeah.
that point. I came home from hospital in it as a newly born baby, and I learnt to drive in it.
Oh, that's cool.
And
That's
then
very
my dad was like, "Oh, I might trade this one in now." I wish he hadn't, because it's gone now. It's been
Yeah.
scrapped. And me and my brother were like, "Damn, that's why I bought that."
Yeah.
It's like a tribute to the car that, I grew up around. But the right to repair, the whole right
Yeah.
to repair movement is something which, not just cars, is it? It's everything, all the appliances in our house. And I think it's such a serious subject that has to be pushed and pushed and pushed.
And I think it's a bigger thing in the UK than most people think. I think some people might look at the UK and go, no one really likes cars. But I think if you look at how many people are driving interesting cars,
I say
it's and then just fixing them, modifying them. You go abroad, you don't see anything like that.
I say it to my dad that every single time that we go over to Holland is you look around and no one has anything cool. And it's not even...
Don't they?
No.
That's such a shame.
But it's not even like that they're all just driving new cars. It's that there's older stuff, but there's just no one doing anything to the older stuff.
Yeah.
Because there are too many restrictions. Same in Germany. You have the TÜV restrictions that stop you from doing anything.
Yeah.
We have our MOTs and we complain about them, but we have such lax laws.
Yeah.
You can do all sorts. We're not America. We're not Florida. You can't stamp a VIN plate on a microwave and drive it down the road like you can there. But you can do all sorts. Like, you can engine swap a car, tell the government, they go, yeah,
it's fine.
fine. Do you want to change the colour on the logbook? Fine.
Yeah.
You try and do that in certain European countries, you go to prison for doing that.
Yeah.
It's mental.
It's true.
But if you just drive around, like even France, Germany, every now and then you might find a little Clio that's got a couple mods on it. But
And that's
5 minutes of driving on UK roads, you see all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I was next to a 64 Impala on the way in today, just driving down the road.
Today?
Left-hand drive, obviously, but on Dutch plates. Although that is on Dutch plates. But driving on the road, it was a 4-door,
Yeah.
just driving down the road.
Well, I've got one of them.
Yeah. And then there was a C63 came past at incredible speeds past me. But you see all sorts in the UK. Go and try that in other countries. You will find quite quickly we have it quite good.
There is
we do.
a solid car culture, I think, in the UK. And again, some of it is blacked out tail lights, but it is still doing something to cars where you might not have that in other countries. And obviously, we're very lucky that we can get used cars. We get messages all the time or comments where we'll say, we've bought an M140i for $9,000. And everyone says, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's a £30,000 car or whatever in my country. So I think we're quite fortunate in that way.
Well, that's why I always say to people, it's like, well, that's the trade-off. We have pretty weird weather.
Yeah.
But the upside is, one of the upsides is a few.
Yeah.
One of them is we have an enormous amount of car people, lots of cottage industries, plenty of second-hand cars, lots of freedom.
Lots of engineering to make you new stuff.
Lots of
like you
Keith-
say, like
Keith and Daves.
some of the silliest... I mean, I dread it, having an unfinished project like the ones I've got, which are heavily modified cars, and then suddenly you find out that you can't drive it on the road.
Yeah.
You'd be like, right, so I just spent 12 years building a thing I can't drive.
Yeah, what's the point in this?
Jeez, okay.
Now, Will, you might not know this, but what's your opinion on air conditioning in cars?
I knew this would come up.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. Would you like to ask Johnny what you think?
Oh, you're not a fan of an AC?
You don't need it.
You don't need
You
it.
don't need it at any... I've got no idea if any of the air conditioning in any of my cars work.
Okay.
In fact, if it has it, when I've bought it, I'm fucked right off.
Oh, you want it out?
It's just a
you want it
power
gone.
robbing, thiefy bastard.
It is a bit but on some...
And it's untidy in the engine bay. Always the ugliest tube.
That is
and
true.
it makes a horrible noise. Yeah.
It's always Americans, the AC runs ice cold.
Blows
Get
cold.
it out. Kick it in the bin.
I'm less...
Windows.
There is
Sunroof.
that, but there is... I don't have a sunroof, unfortunately.
And
But when I
deodorizing.
found out the Alpha had a nice AC, I thought it's actually it's lovely on a nice hot day, which is like 13 degrees in the UK. But
It's a UK thing, by the way. Those of you who live in Arizona, please don't write to us. I know it's hot over there.
for me, it's more the steaming up. It helps with that. It's less of a cold. It's less of a cold. Getting cold air in, because you do have, and a breeze is sometimes a bit nicer for that. But it's more. I've been in cars or owned cars that don't. I have AC that doesn't function, and you don't necessarily want the window up, and it just helps keep everything nice.
Now, I never knew that was a thing. You're the first person that I've ever seen do that, and it makes sense.
because it dries everything out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And otherwise, you've just got moisture.
Just gives me
everywhere.
a headache.
There is,
I get
there is that.
That's why I hate airplanes.
Oh yeah, no, I actually
long
find
haul
that.
flights. That's why I don't drink on airplanes, because I feel hungover without drinking any alcohol.
So I
I'm
quite
such
like
a
it.
square.
I'd like to
Being drunk or
no, just like
AC?
like refrigerant. I think it's quite nice.
Do you like refrigerant?
Completely odd story, but when I worked at M&S, I used to do a lot of stuff in the freezer. You just get given a jacket, and I was like, "This is amazing in here."
You love it.
It just smells
hot?
clean.
Do you naturally
it might
run
be
hot?
That, yeah.
Because my nephew
Just
runs
in there in a
extremely
t-shirt.
hot. He's t-shirt in 7 degrees,
Yeah.
and he's fine. So he can't live without the con. Me, it's a con. It's Con Air. Every time I see that film Con Air, I just think of Air Con. It's a con.
Yeah, I guess in the UK you probably don't. Also, no one uses it.
No.
That might be the thing that bothers me the most about it. Is my girlfriend is terrible for it. I tell her like her windows start steaming up, and she's opening windows and doing that. I'm like, you have aircon. Just set that to a temperature. The car is clever enough to go, I'll deal with this.
I'll do this.
I will deal with this. I'll deal with the windows. I'll deal with all of that. You just pick a temperature and you do the driving. But it's just so many people have the AC and they don't. They don't know. They want the car that has 8-zone climate control.
But they'll never use it.
And then it's just off.
Yeah.
why have you picked that? You might as well just put a larder or something.
But you don't use the cruise control, and you had radar cruise control.
I've started to use
The
cruise
cruise.
control.
Yeah.
My problem with cruise control is you have to slow down for someone doing something all the time.
There's a lot of
Adaptive makes sense.
complexity. Yeah, adaptive can be great. The early adaptive was scary.
Oh, you're barreling up behind someone, and it's like it might not stop.
Yes, I remember being in a Jag that had it, and it was one of the very first cars. I think Jag and Land Rover. I was in this Jag, and 1 minute I was going up behind a car, and I thought just going to punt it out of the way, so I definitely went in and intervened. And then a second time, it did an emergency stop about a quarter of a mile away from a car that pulled out in front of me, and then caused nearly another huge accident. So it was like, I can't live like this. It's too stressful.
I'll deal with it. I'll take back over.
The first time I experienced a proper adaptive cruise control, I was quite lucky. Back at Car Throttle, we used to sometimes get invited to do some of the sort of press car shoots. It was mainly for the website, and we did social media, but sometimes an extra pair of hands or whatever was needed. And luckily, I was older than Edwin, so often I would get asked. So, and Matt did a shoot with, it was a Bentley Continental, the Honda NSX, and a McLaren GT, I think it was. That was what it's called at the time. McLaren wouldn't let me drive that for some reason. They said I was too young. Yeah. But the Bentley they did, and the Bentley I got to drive all the way back from, I think it was Lincoln, back down to sort of London roughly. And it had adaptive cruise, and it had a massage seat, and it had the most amazing sound system. And I was like, "This,
they do.
This is the way."
Is it the name audio?
It was
name audio they use.
I couldn't. I was like, I haven't. I got to the end of the journey. I was like, I haven't done anything.
No,
I didn't do any of that. I might have braked at a junction once.
It's essentially being on an airplane. You're just looking out the window, going, "That's nice over there."
Pretty much. Feet up on the dash.
Peanuts.
I'm in the back.
Yeah.
On the flip side to that, when we would sometimes be driving, me and Tiff together, or in separate cars on walkie-talkies, he would always go, "Right, let's do the brake challenge," and I go, "Oh gosh," because he was very competitive, still is. It would be drive as far as you can without touching the brakes at all.
Okay.
And then he would introduce the other one. If it was a manual car, can't use the clutch. So no clutch and no brake use for we're talking lots of miles.
Yeah.
It's very hard and it's quite punishing on the car.
Yeah.
But that would be Tiff's favourite. Right, no brakes. And like I've been in the car with him when he's not used brakes and driven fast. And it's a true measure of a good driver.
Yeah.
Because I trust him. He's an exceptional driver. But you are properly stamping on the footwell going, "Oh God, no.
Yeah,
no."
please.
And pulling in front of people on roundabouts because he's like, can't stop, won't stop. And just...
They'll have to stop.
Yes.
Yeah. They will.
I might have told it on the podcast before, but when I was learning to drive when I came back to the UK, I'd already been driving in South Africa a bit, but I had my L plates, and my dad would drive to school to pick me up, and then I would drive back with him next to me.
Yeah.
But my dad, being my dad, was not concerned about teaching me at all. He would play a game where who could get the most MPG. He would try and get the most MPG on the way there, and I would try on the way back. And it was fine at the beginning. It was just, higher gears. But it escalated to the point where, as a learner driver, I was switching the car off down hills and then bump starting it to get it going again, just flying through roundabouts to try and conserve speed and keep momentum. And when it came time to do my test, I got one lesson, and the instructor said, "It's all good, but you kind of seem like you don't want to stop anywhere. You just keep kind of going. You just keep rolling through things." And I was like, "Yeah, MPG, mate. I'm trying to keep the MPG up." Just ruined my driving.
Why are you tailgating that lorry?
Yeah.
Well, MPGs, it's just sucking me down the road, isn't it?
That's 3 MPG. Free. You're right there.
I've been teaching over the last couple of years my kids to drive in a field not far from here. I got them a Civic. Would it be EP3 shape?
So EP2 or EP?
Well, whatever it is, 1.4 3-door. It's a cool car. It's just way too good to be a field car. But it's weird teaching people to drive and they question things that you've never questioned, and you've gone, yeah, we do it like that. Why do we do it like that? I don't know.
It's like when someone new starts at work and they ask you to give them a tour, and you're like, "This is how we do it. Don't do that. You're not supposed to do that, but we do this. So just don't do that.
Do as I say, not as I do."
Not as I do.
Yeah.
And I said to them, look, when you do your driving lessons, they might teach you differently, because I learned to drive a long time ago, so there's different rules.
Yeah.
But they used to say, come all the way up to the junction, dip the clutch, and then go from third to first or whatever it is. But now, as I drive, I slow down and go through the gears. They're like, yeah. But what about if you teach us the wrong way? And I went, well, we don't know yet. You're not 17 yet, so let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly.
So I teach them both methods. Okay, let's just do it like this.
They're coming into their first driving lesson, just heel and towing it down.
I know. It's just like, it's been really good fun. I'm now confident enough. I get out the car and I'm like a ringleader in the middle of the field. I'll go.
It's like a matador.
Yeah, and I'll put a cone out and go.
They're doing stunt moves instead.
Yeah.
We don't need to do handbrake turns.
I did teach them a handbrake turn.
did.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Only because my son was like, because he's watching films and stuff. How do you make it do that? I'm like, well, it's a front wheel drive, so you can't like drift as such. But here's what you can do.
Yeah.
And then so I'd be on the wand while he's, and I'm so, imagine it's an icy day. It's an icy day and the car does this. What are you going to do? And I do it like a little, basically a deviant driving instructor.
Yeah. It's just ripping the handbrake.
Yeah, try and go, it might happen on this lap, it might not. Who knows?
We'll have to work it out.
Don't look at my hands.
Yeah.
They're looking at a parallel park going, well, I could handbrake it.
I could handbrake it in.
It's my dad showed me this one guy, Russ Swift. So I'm just going to do that straight into the corner.
If there's a ramp, I can get it on 2 wheels and I should be able to just handbrake it in afterwards.
Love all that.
If you had to rebrand yourself as one of those Instagram car influencers, what would your handle be? How would you dress? And what would your USP be?
This is good.
Because we've been taking the piss out of the Instagram influencer recently.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, because there's always some incredibly inane but quite good metaphor for why this car's important.
Yes.
Why the completely random car's important. And usually there's some sort of charity shop get up.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Some of them do a very good job of it. It's a good question. I wasn't expecting you to ask me something like that. So I would.
It feels normally a bit sort of 70s or 80s car journalist, but with a bit of, sort of pizzazz thrown in there.
At the weekend, I said to my girlfriend, I said, because she asked if I was going to grow a moustache this year. I said, well, technically I've got one. I just need to sort of like debadge it around it. And then, so I promised I'm going to do that. I said, but if I look like a CD serial killer, you are still going to associate with me, aren't you? She promises. So I said, I'm going to dress like Pedro Pascal from the Pablo Escobar things. The Narcos.
Freely. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go sort of like chunky belt buckle.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a fair amount of shirts that already exist similar. But I'm going to try, if I can, rock it with conviction so it doesn't look like I'm fancy dressing.
Okay.
I'm like, this is how I dress for the next 6 months.
This is me.
This is me.
Yeah.
If I was driving that, it would look great.
Oh, then
because everyone would go, oh, I get that. But if I'm driving, I don't know, Tesla.
Yeah, then that's quite interesting.
Is that his car?
You look like a prospect, a land prospector that's come from a different timeline.
That's right. And I could maybe have a cigarette behind my ear, but I don't smoke.
Oh yeah. It's for someone else.
That's right.
For you.
This is for you. We're just about to do a deal. I thought I'd bring you a cigarette.
But it's a herbal one as well.
That's right.
It doesn't hurt you. It's all good. Cars with Johnny that would be like a go-to. When someone makes an Instagram thing and they're like, well, my name is Stephen and I'm going to talk about cars. It's Cars with Stephen.
Or Stephen drives cars.
Stephen drives cars. Stephen on cars. Stephen in cars.
In my head, I had it
on and in.
Almost American spec that was going to be like Johnny Rides or something.
Yeah.
Or just
Something
Johnny
like that.
Rides, but
Johnny-
I think that's a bit motorbike.
Yeah.
Go,
Yeah.
Johnny. Be good.
Yeah.
In brackets. If you want
brackets be good.
brackets, be good. Like
I like that. I
yeah,
actually
be
quite
safe.
like that. Yeah.
Be good. No, actually be good.
Yes.
And then what would your USP be? Because they always start, there's always some form of, they either walk into shot, stage
Yes.
left,
Yes.
or they'll pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's always something. Is there anything, have you ever wanted to try something?
I tell you what I would do, because me and Rich on Smith and Sniff always joke about this privately, is the interview that Nicolas Cage did on Terry Wogan's TV show in about 1990. He was so off his face on marching powder, clearly. He came in and he did a really high kick to camera and then did a forward roll with a leather jacket
Oh,
on.
shit.
He was wild.
That's cool.
You need to watch that clip just to get an idea. And I thought, I will do that at the start of every piece to camera.
That's it. I like that.
And he comes in, he goes, woo! And then does a proper forward roll, one of those ones where you crunch your back a bit,
Yeah,
but you've
yeah.
got to carry it off. Does the high kick in jeans, and then just goes for it.
And
So
then
just-
introduces the press card.
And goes,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the Hyundai Atos.
That on some random Kensington high street.
Yes.
Just that's, I like that.
I would like to do a backflip, but I've never done one, and I feel like I might end up in a wheelchair, so I don't want to do it.
It would be, again, quite funny that at the beginning shot, you completely botching it and then just cutting to you in a wheelchair doing the rest of the review.
But to be fair, I mean, that's the kind of thing people try now. Not the
Yeah.
wheelchair thing, but the I'll do a flip to
I'll
start
do,
it.
yeah. I'm going to do the Nicolas Cage high kick and forward roll.
Okay,
The
nice.
kick's good.
So on Go Johnny Be Good Instagram,
Yeah.
brackets Be Good.
Be good.
You will see this content coming soon. That's good. I like that.
feel like I should do it now.
Yeah,
At some
I think you
point.
may have
It's
to.
a thing.
Random one. What niche corner of car culture do you think is secretly thriving that everyone else is ignoring?
Oh, that is what niche of. That's really good. That's really good. I think I haven't paid much attention to it recently, but there was a load of really interesting repurposing of people. When I used to work on Fully Charged YouTube channel with Robert Llewellyn, I found this movement of people that were buying like really executive cars that were too expensive to tax, and like a 7 Series BMW. It was a bit tired, and nobody could be bothered to like keep it going. And they were converting them to EV, but using scavenged bits. So they would use like a Lexus hybrid gearbox and the battery pack out of this, and they were doing it all like in a shed with lots of monitoring devices, and it was really nerdy. But I got quite into it. I was thinking, well, and then the guy would at the end be like, "Yeah, it owes me £600, the whole thing." And you're like, £600? Is that it? And it's going to be a 7 Series that looks all right, running on some like borrowed, nicked batteries and hybrid system. So that was really cool. Trialing. It's a motorsport, so it's not.
We've said because Car Throttle found the Land's End trial
Yes.
and said we should really do this, and we never ended up doing it. And then your series came out, and I watched it, and I was like, this is mental that people are doing this.
Oh, it's amazing.
It feels like when people talk about random like hillbilly motorsports in America, where it's like you've never heard of this. They do mud wrestling with Tahoes. It's like that, but in England, where it's just a load of people turn up with cars and they get them up a muddy hill, and then they carry on, and then they do the next one.
Honestly, it's one of the most enjoyable things I've done with a car.
Really?
And it's still to this day the oldest and cheapest motorsport. So it's like, hill climb's probably about the same age. So you can genuinely do it with no money. And there are people that enter cars that do well for like 300 quid. And they don't kill them afterwards. They'll reuse them and go, you're right, we're going to refine this next time. We'll put a better sump guard on it, or we'll lighten it or whatever. And there are people doing it who are old, really old, and they're hardcore. They're doing it in a car with no roof in January.
Yeah.
It's pissing freezing. And they're map reading, and they've got a big smile on their face. They're drinking 17 litres of hot tea an hour, and they are enjoying it. And I the one I did, the Land's End 100th anniversary one, I saw Dave Richards from ProDrive in a buggy, a beach buggy, VW beach buggy, with no heating, no roof, no nothing. Big smile on his face. And I actually met him last week because I'd never met him before, and said, you were in that buggy at the Land's End trial. You must have been freezing. I went, I was freezing. But he said, I had the time of my life. And I'm like, but you've done world rally and stuff. And he went, yeah, but grassroots, really approachable, interesting car-based sport is where it's at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it is, isn't it? And I think we've got so carried away with glitzy stuff.
Yeah.
When you strip it all back, it's like when someone has a moped in a field and you might have ridden a Fireblade and I might have a Lamborghini, but you still go, oh, can I have a go on the moped?
Can I have a go on the moped?
Because you know it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's stupid, really, but I think we can get so carried away with stuff being hardcore and expensive and fast or whatever. But yeah, the trialing's awesome. I'd love to trial again. If you ever trial again, or you ever do trial,
we should trial again.
Yeah. You should do it.
Should we, perhaps a Smith and Sniff versus TDC trial would be
a trial off.
Oh, Richard would hate it.
Yeah, no,
Richard would. I'd end up in the car with you.
He'd be like, "Why are we doing this? Why can't we just drive on the road?" Now, your last episode, we have to say, has one of our funniest out of context of your. It's in the finale.
Oh gosh,
we laugh about it quite often. It's from a lot. Well, it's whenever it came out. You know what? I'm going to have to play it.
I don't.
Will's laughing.
What is this?
I've only just remembered
from
it.
the podcast.
No, it's from the
if you can't see the visuals.
Yes,
it's an audio-based thing, and it's actually harrowing.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, this is gonna take me a moment to pull it up and find it in the video, but I do know.
I'm glad it makes you laugh.
Well, we watched it.
You'll probably find this funny.
And then we heard it, and it's like, how has no one made this into some form of meme or viral thing? It's hilarious. It sounds horrendous.
We'll let you draw your own conclusions about what you are talking about in the video. But it's very good.
I'm laughing and I've got no idea.
Right,
I've got a terrible memory for stuff I say.
See, now on the other hand, I for some reason remember every piece of media I've ever watched.
Do you? But you're young.
Yeah. Also, I've spent the better part of now 15 years on YouTube. Like day one, YouTube came out. I was on there watching car crash compilations from Russia.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Like I used to watch. There was a website, you remember it as well, called Wrecked Exotics.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah, that was before YouTube.
Yeah,
that had. In the early days, it was just photos, and then they got videos.
Embedded videos
in there. And then there was also, before that, there was a site called stupidvideos.com.
Oh, gosh.
Which was before YouTube, and it was just people uploading fails and super stuff like that. And so the moment YouTube came about, I was like, this thing's just got car videos on it.
Yeah.
I'm watching C.R.E.A.M uploading videos of their exhausts, all sorts of that.
Yeah.
Will and I have I reckon we've watched, like, of what's come out that's viral or, known about on cars. I'd say between us, we've probably watched 80 to 90% of it throughout the years.
I found my old account recently, and I went back through. I had a playlist that's just called Car Sounds. I would have made it when I was 10 or something, but I watched it back. I was like, this is great. They're just like 8-second clips.
That's so cool.
Of just cars and noises.
Have
you found it?
I found it. Are we ready?
I don't know what
the rim. Oh my word! Absolutely mullered. This rim. There's a really harsh bit. You can see. I mean, look how hard it squashed it. Look how full of shit it squashed it to nothing.
So you
mullered
are
the rim.
Quite innocently talking about a car wheel,
yes.
But I happened to be watching the episode in the unit and played it out loud. And Ben, Will, and I all went, "Hold on, what's he talking about there?
Yeah.
What's going on?
He's destroyed the rim."
That was on the Land's End trial?
That was on the Land's End trial.
Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah,
that was our first
thing.
It
was you going, "Oh, it's absolutely full of shit."
it's destroyed the rim. Look how soft it is.
I was so annoyed with myself.
Because that was like 30 seconds into the first bit, right?
It really was. It was like first stage, go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, smash.
Yeah.
And the wheel went from being that big to about that big. It looked like it had just gone in the microwave like a crisp packet and just been shriveled. I was like, how did I destroy it that badly?
Yeah.
And a few of the marshals were like, well, you did hit it quite hard. I was like, but you have to because you need to carry the momentum and there's nowhere around it. So what else was I supposed to do? And they were like, don't know.
Just don't do it.
Well, yeah.
just don't break it.
I don't know.
I'm glad we managed to get that out because that's something we laugh about.
Mullered the rim.
Yeah, that's something we laugh about quite
I heard
often.
it Edwin was watching it and I heard it. I was like, hang on a sec. What are you watching there?
Yeah.
It could be the Max Power DVD.
You guys would love the trialing.
I think we'll have to put it on the books.
Yeah. We used to, back at the channel I used to work for, Overdrive, we used to do like grassroots motorsport videos because they would do quite well. We started out with lawnmower racing, which is amazing. I never want to do it again.
No.
Because it is physically the worst thing I've ever done. Like it's unbelievably taxing. It's a go-kart, but you're
the
a
suspension
foot higher than you should be. So all of the sort of, it's like a motorbike with 4 wheels. So you have to use body weight to get around it. It makes zero sense, but it is amazing. They did grass karting and a couple of other things. But it's another thing I think people don't know about, like realize about the UK, even people in the UK, is that motorsport is massive.
Huge.
From people just rallying around a field in go-karts to,
banger racing,
doing hill climb stuff is massive in the UK.
But banger racing is so high end now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so stupid.
I'd love to do
our
banger
mate
racing.
Aidan that works with us, he's UK champ or regional champ, or he's like quite well known in it.
Wow.
And I said to him, like, so you just like buy a car from the scrappy and go race it? And he was like, no, there's like qualifying, people are doing like engineering to try and get an edge over other people. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable engineering.
Yeah.
Unbelievable money.
I inquired about doing it. There's a place, an arena in Bournemouth. I'm not sure if it's still there. I'm fairly sure it is.
Was it Matchams?
Angmering. Angmering. It's got an odd name. But I called the guy who was running it, and it's always difficult explaining because a lot of those people have been doing it for a very long time. So when you mention YouTube, they're like, "What do you want? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Why do you want this?" But they were quite open to
We're
us
not
doing
paying
it.
you any money. We're not paying you. No, we're not asking for any money.
We said we just want to enter. How do we do it? And I thought it'd be the same. We just go and get a Corsa B or a Corsa C from the scrapyard. I'll put a helmet on and we'll just go racing. Yeah. And then I know there's to do with the cage and what sort of cage you need and all that kind of stuff. So, but that same place also did car jumping. It's not really a motorsport, but it's something I just am desperate to try. Yes. Maybe not as much. A little bit younger, I was more willing to do it. Now I was like, do I want to break my neck doing that? But they do have like hands devices and stuff. But it is exactly what it says on the tin. They have to drive around like half the
That's
sort
right.
of oval.
And then go in the infield.
And then they go on the infield and they have to clear X amount of cars. And there are some of them that just clear the whole thing. One of the best clips I've seen, I want to say it was an IS200 that had obviously been jumped prior. But he went round, he jumped it, he cleared all the cars, destroyed the car, and then he just went back round again and just did it again.
Oh my gosh. That's so adrenaline up.
Just that people just find the strangest thing. They go, I'll race that, I'll jump that, I'll do something. Is that a field? Cool,
yeah,
make
it's
a track
literally,
in that.
it's Steve, should we go jump something in a field? Yeah. And then someone went, I'll do that with you.
Yeah.
Can I come with you and do that?
Competitively.
Yeah. I bet I can do it better than you.
That's what I love about YouTube. Is that you see all of those, in the old days at least, all those really, really hashed up old home videos. And they were all things that I grew up doing, but we didn't have video recordings and stuff. And we didn't have camcorders spare. And so it really reminds me of, building stupid jumps for your mountain bike.
Yeah.
We all chipped in a summer holiday once because we were all bored and we all had, I don't know, maybe £8 each. And we bought a Honda Step Through from a neighbour, which we called the Bangladesh Mobile, because we stripped everything off it to make it go as fast as possible. Yeah. And it just looked like a weird skeleton with nothing. And then we tied a pair of shoes to the back of it for fun. That thing would just go flat out all summer holiday. Yeah. And all we did is just stole fuel from our own parents' sheds for lawnmowers. And it was like one of the most fun summers. Yeah. And we had a campfire and occasionally drank cider, but it was mostly about the moped.
Yeah. Yeah. I think more younger people, it would be good if they would get into that stuff because a lot of people think it needs to be go-karting, which is very expensive, but there's other types of motorsport and things you can try out, or motorbikes if you really have to.
My kids really wanted to go-karting, and I knew I couldn't afford it, not to compete. And so I just picked up my Gumtree app and went, well, what cars are out there for right now for 300 quid or less? And I bought that Civic, which was 70,000 miles, turns out full service history, and it was £310.
Yeah.
And it still had 3 months, 4 months MOT or something. And I went and picked it up, insured it, and then brought it back. And I said, that is about 3 karting sessions.
Yeah.
You guys can have it, all right? And it's so good, you can have it. We can drive it on the road if you want to.
Yeah.
Not with me at the wheel, not them. And they were like, what? And I said, yeah, it's cheaper than going karting. It's a car. It's a full car. And you could have it as your. I think my son might have it as his first car because we might build a EP3 Type R replica.
Nice.
Remember when people used to do that?
Always.
I might have to tap you guys up actually for that.
There's
now. What colour is it?
Clone.
Is it cool?
Silver?
Oh, it's silver.
Silvery grey.
Because sometimes they have like the
quite easy
pink or the green, the champagne-y colours. having that as a Type R rep would look quite cool.
Oh, an OAP type.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
I still see it a lot I'm still in like all the Clio Mark II forums from having like 182s and stuff. And there's still a lot of 17, 18-year-olds who go in there, and sometimes they get a bit of stick, but they're young and they've got a car that looks exactly like a 182 or a 172. But they're like, has anyone got a bumper? Has anyone got this? Because that's what I wanted to do when I was younger, but you get put off it because you think, everyone's going to think I'm a bit stupid. But
the reality is you're not going to be able to afford a 1.8.
To insure it.
So what's wrong with doing it? And also, I said to my kids, it's like, if you buy a car really cheap and you learn how to put bits on it and take them off and buy them secondhand and stuff like that, that's the way you should do it. And I think no car people should dissuade that. Yeah, you can come to a Cars and Coffee event and there'll be people with Ferraris and Exotica and stuff, but never don't smirk at.
No, yeah. Also, especially
people,
when
don't put them off.
Especially when there is a story to go along with it. Like, let's say he was to have that as his first car. He does a Type R kit. A little bit down the line, he decides, now I want a Type R engine. Now I turn it into a track car. Now that car's got a story, even if it is the shittest car.
It is a Type R, but it's not a Type R. Yeah.
But if you're at that Cars and Coffee and it might be the rattiest car there, but you can go, yeah, but I've had this since my first car. Yeah. Then other car people will go, oh, yeah, that's cool now that you've got.
We always say that you have to, not necessarily that they are mistakes, but they'll feel like mistakes later on down the line. You go, I needed to do that to get to the cars I'm buying now. And I go, that was silly. I'd probably never do it again. Yeah. But it taught me something about taking a bumper off or taking an engine out or doing an interior change or something like that. And you can always, so whenever people say to us, should I do this to my car and they're young? I wouldn't do it to a car now. No. But they should do it. If you want to do it, if you want to go and put Lexus lights on the back of your car, you want to tint your windows, you want to put a subwoofer in the boot, you should absolutely do it. There is no real reason to do it. It's worse in every way. Yeah. But you need to do that now while you're young.
We probably won't like it. No, if you ask us what we think, we'll tell you it's shit. But if you did it yourself, that's the important part. That's the bit that you were supposed to do.
You wanted to do it.
Completely. And it's a rite of passage.
Yeah, absolutely. Get messing stuff off on cars.
You want a bad boy bonnet your Polo, which is what one of my mates did, like your mate's dad's garage with some very basic woodworking tools, not metalworking tools.
Nice.
Yes, you can do it. Yeah. You can actually do that. I think the worst thing is when people financially bite off more than they can chew. Yeah. So they start their car journey completely skint and they have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to keep the finances up on a car. And it's like, you didn't need to buy.
Yeah, get something.
You didn't need to buy a 15 grand car.
Because also, the only people you're trying to impress are the people that aren't going to be impressed by you anyway. Yeah. Whereas your mates will be impressed by your Corsa B.
Yeah.
If you go and stick some eBay 6x9s in it that cost you 15 quid, they'll go, that sounds sick.
Completely.
Whereas if you go and finance a new car, they're going to go, hey, mate, cool.
You also then, you don't appreciate the good stuff when you do get to it.
Yeah.
My dad always used to say to do with like jobs and stuff is you need to do the shit jobs to appreciate the good ones. And it's the same with cars. Totally. If you don't start off with something, even it's not necessarily a rusty piece of shit, but it's at least a very slow hatchback, something that has no real redeeming features other than the fact that it's your freedom. But then you go, well now I can upgrade to something else and upgrade to something else. And I can look back at that and go, well, that's how far I've come. So that's what a lot of people don't understand.
I've never had a really glamorous car.
Yeah.
I've still waiting to get there. I've never had a supercar. I've never had a modern sports car.
Is there one on the list?
I mean, that's the most.
Yeah, I would say because that is for a lot of people is a poster car.
Yeah,
like I look at that with jealous eyes whenever I see that shape of Charger.
Well, that's my dream car. That's why I bought it. Same as you with the Lambo and you with the TVR and stuff. It's like it was always a one day I hope to get. That was what that was.
Has there ever been anything like super expensive or sports car or supercar that you would still like to own?
Yeah, there's a few, and I do. I do have moments, and especially when I'm watching other YouTubers' channels who probably like younger cars than me.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I would love an E39 M5. I'd really, really like one. I've nearly gone there, nearly not. There's a couple I've never owned a 911 of any sort. And my only Porsche I've ever owned is the Boxster, which was X-Car throttle.
Yep.
And I love that damn car. So I would love to do that. And a supercar is a difficult one. Would I ever own a supercar? I don't know.
It's not for everyone.
I'm lucky.
We've always said it.
I've driven lots of them. Bizarrely, I've borrowed lots of them.
I always think that with journalists is you tend to find that not many of them go out and buy one because you don't need to.
No.
You get all of the use that you'd want to get out of a supercar without having to deal with any of the ownership issues.
It's so true, yeah.
So you go, I'll go and buy something old, or like you've got, like going and buying 182s and that sort of stuff as a palate cleanser.
It is a palate cleanser.
Because otherwise you go from driving a Valkyrie and then you go and get in your Gallardo and go, oh, this isn't very good.
Yeah.
It would take that shine off.
There's a bit of that,
Yeah.
which is, I always like getting in that because that's an absolute palate cleanser.
Yeah, nothing else is like that.
It will not stop. And
Yeah.
It doesn't turn very well, and it's very physical and old. So I do like that. But I tell you, there was one that just popped into my head a second ago. A car that I would rather like. A supercar. What was it? I've never owned a an Alpha. I would love a hot old Alpha, but I worry that it would be
like a GTV6 or like a junior old.
I'd like a Montreal.
Oh,
but I would like a modified Montreal because I know standard. I think they're a bit disappointing.
They are. So, funnily enough, I actually have context that my dad is an Alpha man, and he does have a Montreal at the moment. Has had multiple, and I've driven it thinking old school V8 manual. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
it drives a lot like a Triumph Stag,
right?
And that's not a compliment.
No, just a more handsome Stag.
Yeah, but there is a company called OK Tech. You should have a look at them. They do like a 11,000 RPM ITB because they have a very weird injection system in the engine.
Yeah,
but they've done like an 11,000 RPM Montreal that sits and looks and is fantastic in every single way. So I've petitioned my dad many times for the Montreal to become my inheritance. Everything else can go, but I'd like the Montreal because to build one of those would be very cool.
Because I think I didn't know about that car, the Montreal, at all until I saw your dad's one, and I saw it. I thought it's Miura, but sort of but somewhat attainable.
GT
really,
Miura.
I thought it just looked incredible. And if you looked at the car and someone said that's just sold for $1.5 million, you probably go, fair enough.
Yeah.
That looks like it would be, but yeah.
Do you know why it's called the Montreal? Because it had no name when it was revealed at the Montreal car show.
That's so Italian. And we've not got the name yet.
There was no name for it. And so people started calling it the Montreal Alpha, as in the one that was at the Montreal show. And Alpha went, sounds good. Yeah, we'll call it that.
Could have been much worse.
Yeah.
The
Birmingham.
Yeah, the Alpha Birmingham.
The Docklands.
Yeah.
Something like that would not have gone down as well. But yeah, I thought that was really looked cool.
I tell you what, a car I would probably borrow a shed load of money for. I'd like a rough Porsche of some sort.
Have you ever driven one?
No, I haven't.
That's a bucket list car to drive for me.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Having met Mr. Ruff, or Ruff, such an interesting guy, sweet guy. And I just think it's one of those things where it's so niche. And it is a proper if you know, you know. And significantly expensive, obviously. But I would very much like
one of the older ones, like a Yellowbird, or one of their new kind of reincarnations.
I'd try either actually, because obviously Yellowbird, there's hardly any about. Full stop. I would do I've seen some of their 997s. I thought they look pretty.
Yeah, those because those are. It's quite funny.
The 9FF.
Those style. So because obviously they always did make a lot of power. But then it got to like 997 generation. They just went mental. They just went, it's just 800 horsepower now. Just enjoy it.
And you just go, what? I beg your pardon? Yeah.
Why is that?
We talked about in the if you know, you know cars. Someone asked a forum question to us saying, and Vruf might actually be
that's got to be.
Because it is still a Porsche, so it kind of stands out.
Yeah.
But no one would know if they saw a Yellowbird or something like that.
If you see that badge, then you're like, oh,
It's just another level, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like that's worth double what you thought it was worth.
Yeah. And they still make cars?
Yeah.
They make they're almost resto mods type.
Yeah,
they now do
the carbon.
They did the Yellowbird again, or the CTR.
They now do like a modern CTR kind of reimagination type thing.
Yeah.
Also a nerdy fact, the Yellowbird, there's only one Yellowbird. The rest of them are just CTRs.
Are they?
Yellowbird is the only one that has the scoop in the side of it.
Did it do a ring lap? One. Was that one of the things it did?
Fascination.
Yeah.
Again, also early YouTube.
So
that was like beginning of internet video. That being on the internet, I remember watching that and going, "What's this place? Is this the place on Gran Turismo that I keep driving around and crashing into?"
That's
people?
where I know of from is from Gran Turismo. I looked at it, I was like, it looks like a Porsche, but it's not. But it is. So yeah.
Flip side of the same question: is there a car that the internet loves that you just don't get the joke on?
Oh yeah, there's loads. I mean, you got a lot of modern BMWs and a lot of new hot Audis that I just can't be bothered to review because although a lot of the BMWs drive really well, I just think they're so disgusting. They're so disgusting to look at, and the people that buy them and say, "Yeah, you get used to it." It's like you've convinced yourself because you sold the last version before you drove it and lived with it, and you're probably regretting it, but you can't admit it to anybody.
Yeah.
The older one might be 8% worse dynamically, but it's better in every way, and it's half the money. That's where your money should go.
Yeah.
So I think people are always asking me about peak car. And I'm sure they ask you, like, when was peak car? Because we're in this weird world now where there's a lot of just average meh about, and cars have got really expensive. And so I'm always trying to think of, like, when was peak car? Was I reviewing new cars when peak car was peak car? I think I was, actually, by accident. But yeah, so there's a lot of those things, and fast forwards. I find it quite hard to gel with a lot of those fast forwards.
Modern or old?
Well, what's your definition of old? I mean, I drove the Mark I Focus RS when it was launched, and I was like, that's terrible.
Really?
It's so much worse than the ST. Was it the
ST?
170? 170,
the 170. It's so much worse because the 170 didn't just grab and snatch you and punch you and kick you around.
Yeah.
It's like, this is undrivable. And it's got the most chavvy interior I've ever seen. I'm sitting inside a horrible tracksuit.
Yeah.
And I'm paying more. And I remember the starter button just looked like
the green
someone
button.
had just got it from a drill, an industrial drill. They're one of those emergency, quick, Terry's arm's being like sawn off, quick, press the button. And I was like, this is horrible. And yet now it's, the highly revered, and I love the Mark I Focus, but I thought the RS was the worst of them.
Really? The interior I can understand 100% because it is awful.
It's a sick joke. I'm going to get trolled for this because fast forward people are...
they're militant.
Wow.
It is a cult.
Militant. I think there's a lot, and it is not necessarily just fast forwards, but a lot of other old cars, is that when you drive them now, you go, it's not actually as good as it is. It's like some people who drive like an E30 M3 and go, I was expecting it to drive like a DTM car, but it's actually a relatively softish kind of road car type thing. I think that's what I would love a Mark I RS. I love mostly the way they look, if I'm honest, compared to an ST170.
They're a lot less steroidy than the way they went.
They're just chunky
exactly.
bumpers.
Compared to like a Cosworth, even compared to the Mark II, it's relatively normal looking, it's just got, that's almost, if you know, it's like, it's got slightly wider arches. It kind of looks like a normal Focus, but I wonder if it would be a bit disappointing standard.
I think this is actually the next question. I think it's the nostalgia of, without us having driven it, but just seeing it in magazines and in games and things, it's built up in our heads to the point where it doesn't really matter how it drives.
Completely.
It's just like that. Like the Tuscan, honestly, the Tuscan could have driven like a bag of nails, and I was expecting it to when we drove the one before. The reason I went out and bought one is because I was so surprised about how good it actually was. But I was expecting to drive it, hate it, and go, I still love it. It's just a cool thing that from my childhood.
Yeah.
But it just also happened to be very good.
Yeah.
But what...
That's like that.
Yeah.
I bought it because it looks the way it looks, and it was in all the films that we all know. So I thought, well, it's probably going to be a bit awful. And then you drove it, and park the brakes bit. Brakes are terrible. But to drive, it's actually good. Yeah. And it does actually go around corners because it's not as heavy as it looks. So I was like, I think I might live with this for a bit longer. And now it's like, I'm never selling that car.
Yeah.
Never. Because I love it.
Dodge Charger being handed down to the kids.
100%.
Yeah.
Why's he got no brakes?
Yeah. Family heirloom.
Dad, no.
The brakes thing is, quite bad. Quite bad.
So what part of car nostalgia do you think is over-romanticized then? What do you think people say that they're like, oh, it'd be great if we went back and had that, but in actual fact, it was shit back then?
What part of car nostalgia is actually worse than people think? Got some damn good questions, you naughty swine. I'm trying to remember.
Because I keep seeing it's with all of the reimagined cars that you see it, where it's at the start, it was... Singer 911 was a modern feeling car, but with retro looks.
Yeah.
And now it seems to start regressing into the point where it's like, we've just remade an old car. It has wind-up windows.
Yeah.
It has, no AC. It has it has everything's basic again. That wasn't the point of what you were trying to capture before.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be all the best bits of a new car, but with the looks of an old one.
Yeah.
But now it's weird. It seems to be going back. Unless you go to like those MST things, which are supposed to be just a remake of an old car, and a Mark II Escort again.
Yes.
But I think there's this weird thing where there's a lot of.
I don't understand why Porsche haven't started owning the reproduction of the body shells.
Yeah.
Because I feel sorry for the 964, because I think it's going to be the rarest standard 911 if you buy one. And I would love a base model. A guy I know has a no options Carrera 2 964.
Oh, wow.
And that's one of my dream cars, probably.
But that's the funny thing, is that like a no options car is now even more sought after.
Completely.
Because everyone's like, oh, well, there are none of those left. I'll buy that and I'll stick that in a shed.
Yeah. When I review cars, and have done for years, I would often, because you'd often get a press car with all of the options on it. And part of the review process would be, well, this is particularly got equipped with this system, and that costs this much. I personally don't think it's worth it, or that one's really good. That's neat. I think you should have that. The number of times I'd say to people, don't hardly spec anything.
Yeah.
Because if you get carried away, you'll easily get fleeced for another $8,000 or whatever it is. And $8,000 back then would buy you another car.
Yeah.
That would be the price of a new, whatever it was, little Dacia. So I'd be like, just go careful. But people now, it's like people that order 911s, they just go Turbo S.
Yeah,
everything.
$100,000 of options.
And I go, that's the most boring 911 I've driven.
Yeah.
It's so fast, but so sanitized, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if you drove it, but I remember Matt Robinson, when we worked at Car Throttle, telling us about it, that Porsche with the 991 or 992 had on their press fleet a completely base model.
Yes.
I think it was red.
Yes, I drove that car.
Yeah, that just being... But that's a funny thing.
Yeah.
That now becomes a thing for a manufacturer to go, here's a completely base model one.
Yeah.
And everyone went, oh, that's cool.
Bloody love
it drives
base
really
models.
well. You don't need anything else.
I think that's probably the most overrated thing, of people thinking you need to highly option a car. And also the whole colour thing.
Like, the colour thing is... Yeah.
Colour thing just wrecks my head. The number of people that buy a really boring coloured car and it just looks Soviet. It just looks like we're in a repressed society.
There was where were we?
Doesn't it? You're like, I've got this really cool car, it's in flat grey. Flat grey. And we live in the UK where the sky is flat grey for 60% of the time.
But it's paying that money.
Yeah, exactly. To go over.
The Carrera GT, this is a Carrera GT we're talking about. We saw it at DK Engineering, and I saw it. I was like, that looks like every other Carrera GT I've seen. It was like some one of one colour. It was just silver.
Yeah.
Like, it was the same silver, but I'm like, almost just to not have the silver that everyone else has got, someone paid some ridiculous sum of money to have, no, but my silver's different. I'm like,
it's got the scales of salmon in it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't know until you parked it next to all the other.
Yeah. And you have to tell people as well. You have to go, no, but it is rare.
Special.
It's a special grey.
Yeah, I always think colours are correct when you look at it and you go, oh, not that you have to go up and, microscopically go, oh, maybe that's a little bit of a different shade. That's kind of a nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the UK, I agree. We might, if you go watch an old series, I love watching 90s, 2000s TV shows. The amount of colour on the road of cars.
So much
colour. And then it's kind of like right around financial crash. Everyone just went, I'm going grey. Grey, silver, black. Yeah. That's it.
But colourful cars like the new Renaults, the Renault 5 that we were talking about earlier, like they all look good with colour. When you order a black one, I've seen there's a black one around here, just looks dull.
Yeah, Alpine as well.
Loses all of its individual design features. And you're like, I think if you've got the balls to just go, I like bright yellow cars and I'm going to order that in bright yellow.
Yeah.
Go, just do it. And then, I don't know, in 8 years' time, these boys will buy it.
Yeah.
It'll be the one of 50 ever made. And I'll be like, that one. Buy that one in poo brown or buy that one in that. I think people should do it.
People are too worried about getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Before they've even bought it, they're like, well, it's going to be difficult to get rid of. I'm like, why are you buying it then? You need to buy the one you want.
Don't buy a car for the next generation.
Yeah.
Buy it because you like it for this and this and this and this.
I won't give the Nissan Duke credit for much, but I will give it credit that you see a good amount in quite bright color. Like there's just bright yellow ones around.
There's a lot of yellow. It got launched in that color. I'm sure it did.
But enough people went, I'm blind enough already to be buying this car. I might as well choose a mental color.
I'm seeing some more. I think France seem to be doing it quite well at the moment. Not that I'm that keen on many new cars, but I keep seeing Peugeots. And I'm like,
The
Who picked that colour?
The emeraldy
It'd be
green
like a
blue.
deep purple or like the green. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's not black, it's not grey, we're not silver. It's just this is an actual colour I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It almost looks like someone's gone out and painted it aftermarket, but it is a shade. which
TVL's
is nice.
back in the form of Peugeot.
Yeah.
We're having a good time with green right now.
Yeah.
And I've always liked green cars. When a lot of people didn't like them, I was always like, no, I like green. I love green, light and dark. Now you're seeing that BMW M green, and which is like the Alpha, this hot Alpha green.
Oh, yeah, the Junior. Yeah.
I don't know the names of any of the greens. They're just
Green.
that's a great green.
Yeah.
And that green, that Ferrari there is a great green. But yeah, I really want people to be more colourful.
It's become an in thing, the whole green over tan thing.
It is.
Which is, it's annoying. I feel like that person who says, I knew the band before they were good.
Yes.
I was a fan before.
It was me.
Yeah, that's what I feel like with the
I feel
M3.
like I'm with green cars.
Yeah, because
But-
my M3 I spent a decade looking for, and nobody optioned them in Oxford green because it was a rare colour.
Yeah.
Well, because it was an old man colour,
Yes.
so nobody picked it.
Yeah.
And then they went through this lull where they were the cheapest, and now everyone's like, does anybody know an Oxford green car? I'll pay overs for it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But now it's annoying because now the car's rare and everyone wants it. It feels wrong to be using it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, God, go after yellow or something now.
Old money green.
Move
That's
on.
what it should be called,
Yeah,
shouldn't it?
old money green.
It is old money green. No, I'd love it. And if I ever do buy a brand new car, I will go, yeah, I'm going to have it in a really silly colour.
We looked at the in our RS6. One of the previous owners bought a booklet, like an original like Audi one that's got all the options in it. And ours is Misano red, so it's not that common to be in a sort of bright colour. Most of them are black. You might get a blue one, but a lot of them are whites and silvers and whatever else. And we looked through and we saw the exclusive options. I was like, I've never seen some of these colours.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was probably expensive, but we're talking about a £100,000 plus car at the time, and no one was picking some of the most
like people were picking
some really interesting and interior options as well. They've all got black leather, and there was some really cool.
I'm so bored of leather. So bored of leather.
Yeah. Do you know what?
I was bored 10 years ago of leather, reviewing cars going, great. Black leather's not special anymore.
Yeah.
I like leather, but there are, because I'm a big 8 Series nerd, E31 8 Series, you could get cloth seats in the 8 Series, and some of them had patents. From what I can find, there are less than 10 UK optioned cars with cloth.
Wow.
The rest of our 8 or 9,000, everyone chose leather.
Yeah.
But I get it because it was not seen as expensive then.
Yeah.
But you're buying a 90 grand car.
Yeah.
You've made the statement.
Yeah.
Now get the really comfy seats.
Well, again, you're worrying what other people think.
Yeah.
You should not worry about what other people think.
And they're worried about when I come to sell it, no one's going to want the car with grey leather, with cloth seats or something.
All the people that option cars with boring colours, they change their car every 12 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
So just keep your car for longer. Say, right, whatever you choose, you're keeping this for 12 years.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to keep that damn car for 12 years, so you better enjoy it.
I always think about this. The biggest issue with people speccing new cars is that all of us who are interested in the cars will never have the money to go and buy the new car. So we're never the ones speccing them.
No.
It's always the boring people with a load more money who goes, just get me a grey one.
Yeah.
I'll keep it free and then we'll move it on to the next one.
I know.
That we get the trickle down to where we go, oh, God damn it, I want the green or the yellow one. Where is one?
We've said a few times about having some form of service, like people would have like celebrities might have a shopper or someone who styles for them. Is that you can stand outside a dealership and say, look, what car do you want?
Yeah.
We'll put it together for you.
Yeah.
They don't, in there, they're just trying to sell you whatever it is. They just want your money. We're going to make this one right for you. Probably no one will pay because they'll just end up with green cars and yellow cars.
Going back to that thing that you were saying where things that people thought were cool and maybe they're not now. I had real beef with vinyl wrapping when it first came out. And not because of the technology of it. It's technology of it's great. And the PPF thing, which is now self-healing and all that. Very interesting. But it was the lack of commitment. It was I'm going to buy a silver Ferrari.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to vinyl wrap it in Cadbury's purple. It's like, no. Fucking commit.
Yeah.
If you want that car in purple, order it in purple.
Yeah.
Be that guy.
Yeah.
Just do it, man. Just do it, for goodness sake. Don't put stickers on it. People will go, oh, wow, I like your wrap. Go, no, I ordered that. Like everyone at Ferrari thought I was a nut job.
Because I know it's better nowadays, but you can tell when it's wrap. Like when behind the camera there is a green, I think it's called Verde Pinot, can't remember.
Yeah.
On this Ferrari, is it 308?
It's 308, yes.
And you can tell that's paint. There's depth from that distance. But then when you see a wrapped car, you can just tell.
Yeah.
I know there's newer stuff
There's
that's much
newer
better.
stuff that's better, and people say you can polish it, but paint will always have that quality that
It's
no
your
one
nan's
else is.
sofa with the clear plastic still over it. To me, it's like you're never going to fully appreciate the sofa because your nan won't take the plastic off. You're like, oh, come on.
It's all crinkly.
You can always see where it's, and people are always going to look and go, is that a wrap? And you have to tell them, yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, it is. No, it isn't.
But I just don't. And also, the amount of times we've seen cars that have been wrapped and then they take the wrap off and the paint is demolished underneath.
Is it?
Because they've left it on for too long.
And it's
adhesive,
sort of heat.
and it takes lacquer off. And then at that point, you need to paint the car.
Yeah, we have
So you might as well have
purchased. We won't show it on the camera, but that's what you can see through there.
Have you?
One of those for $7,500.
Oh,
not a hot one like that.
Not a spicy one, but because he wrapped it black, tried to take it off, and every bit of clear coat came off with it. So the guy spent nearly 20 grand on the car, another 5 wrapping it, and we got it for 7 because of that. Because the car needs a full repaint.
Oh my word!
So you will find out about that in the coming months. But that is an interesting car.
I've decided to go the opposite in a forthcoming episode on my Boxster. I've decided to we're going to paint this car.
Nice,
to paint it.
I like it.
We're going to paint it, and when I say paint it, I mean not in a spray booth.
Rattle cans
at Art Car. We're going to Art Car.
Oh, cool!
We're going to go full Art Car, full commitment, no pissing around.
I like that. Are there?
It might be appalling. It might be appalling.
But it's art. No one can question it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say it's art
and do it with conviction.
Yeah.
I'll be dressed as Pablo Escobar at the time as well, so it's fine.
If
karate kick into the camera.
You can critique paint on a car. You can't critique art on a car because then you're a Philistine.
Yes.
So it's an easy out.
It's amazing. Look at it.
It's so good. I hadn't thought of it like that.
Right. We're quite aware of how long this podcast got on, so we'll do one more, which I thought you might have quite a funny answer for. There are some old trim levels that seem to be making a comeback. Which trim level would you like to see returned?
Just the name of it, or
just the trim. So you could have a Vauxhall Mocha.
Yes.
Whatever.
Oh.
Because I know what my answer is. Land Rover on the classics used to do Turbo D.
Ooh.
I want Turbo D to come back.
Turbo D exists.
It's a bad MC. Very bad MC.
I think Vauxhalls do Turbo Ds.
But I want to see it on a Range Rover.
You want to see it on a Range Rover?
I want to see a brand new 150 grand full fat autobiography that just says Turbo D on the back of it on the diesel one. That'd be great.
Vauxhall brought back GSI recently, but not in the best way.
Well, Vauxhall are quite good because they brought back turbo.
They did
just turbo badge,
and everything says turbo.
Yeah,
really, because everything mostly is turbo.
Yeah. And is that I can't remember if it's Vauxhall that do the different colours have different meanings. It was on the insignia. It was like black meant it was 150, red turbo meant it was 190. Like there were different That's cool. That feels 80s.
Yeah,
spec.
that does. That feels really 80s.
GXL type stuff.
My mate's mum used to have Catalyst written down the side of the door on her Volvo.
Catalyst.
And at the time, nobody knew. Like, what is this thing?
OPF.
Also, a nitty's dream at this point, just seeing catalytic converter written down the side of the car going,
oh, cool. Jack it up and get the saw out. Lovely.
Yeah, I'll be under there in a moment. Same with Lambda as well.
Lambda Sond.
Just Lambda.
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't know what that was.
Badges on, I guess... No, electric cars kind of do it with when they say how many motors they've got, but no one's going wrong. I'm going to put it up the door.
Yeah,
where it's going to have a. Yeah.
It's always the Japanese who would do the full essay on the lower door of MR2s, which would just be double overhead camshaft. It would never just be DOHC. It'd be double overhead camshaft, 2 litre, 4-cylinder, turbocharged, intercooled. You're like, oh my gosh! I've been on the motorway looking at this guy's car for 30 seconds, weaving around. It's just a full essay.
I like Ford's gear. If I see gear, I was like, okay. So it's a slightly fancy
titanium.
one.
Great one.
I missed gear.
Yeah.
Titanium was okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and then they did Vignale,
which
nobody cared about at that point. I'd love gear.
Gear, because you'd see when we went to the Heritage Collection, Galaxy. They had a Mark 3, Mark 4, Mark 5 Fiesta that had gear on it. So, but it had leather, to be fair. But it was a Fiesta that would normally be super basic, but it was a gear.
Yeah,
it had alloys, it had body-coloured bumpers, it had leather. I was like, that sunroof. It's like, this is...
I quite liked gear,
yeah.
I liked gear a lot.
The MR2, Jake's MR2, it was an SW20, but it was an import. It had written on the back of it, and I can't remember it for the life of me, Men in Dandism Living So Wild and Free, which is a factory. It's on the little rear window that you look through. Someone will know in the comments.
Men in Dandism?
Yeah, and
What's that?
there was an old,
How many words? Is that one word?
It was like
or is that men in Dandism?
Men in Dandism. And it was there's
Surely
a
there's some
Jalopnik
letters
article.
mixing.
I remember looking it up, and there was an old Jalopnik article of people being like, what the hell does this mean?
No.
And no one knew. No one could
Nobody.
find out what it meant. It was just one of those, like, on the beat, you have midship amusement
That's right.
written on the side of it.
Yes.
It's just one of those Japanese things where they went, oh, mate, just write something in English.
Yeah.
People will love this stuff. They eat it up.
Just stage 3, mate.
Yeah.
Fully forged in internals.
It's almost...
And that. Just write and that
Yeah.
at the end of everything. And that.
It's
Yeah.
the
And more.
automotive equivalent
Details
of
in photos.
the shopping list on modified cars of the Apexi, HKS, all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
from the factory going, engine, tyres,
Yeah, drive shafts.
Seats.
steering wheel.
Steering
and
wheel.
Yeah.
Cruise control.
Brake pads.
that. Hopefully.
Yes.
Maybe. Optional extra. I think that is a great pace to wrap it up, because we have been talking for 2 hours now.
I'm
I think
really
It
sorry.
could go on for much longer.
that's our fault.
I'm so sorry.
We could probably go for many, many more hours. We will probably see Johnny back on the TDC podcast, on the C.R.E.A.M podcast very soon,
I'd love to come back.
because there's more.
You'll have to. There's more to talk about.
There's more shit to chat. But as always, to steal the outro of Smith and Sniff, you have things on, which is Late Break Show.
We have things on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Late Break Show, Smith and Sniff podcast.
Yes.
And on Late Break Show, you will find the Barn Find series, finding cars, looking around collections,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that sort of stuff.
Calculations.
Anything else to plug?
Anything else to plug? Oh my gosh, you've put me on the spot. I don't know. No, yes.
Go back and watch Fifth Gear.
Yeah, you can go back.
Johnny will get royalties, maybe, probably not.
I don't get, no. The
nothing.
year I started, they stopped royalties. I was a little bit gutted about that.
Yeah.
I missed that gravy train. But hey, kind of
Don't go back and watch Fifth Gear. Johnny gets nothing from that, so don't go pirate it.
watch the Late Break Show. Would love you to watch that and listen to our silly podcast.
Awesome. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you back on Thursday, because this is a special transmission on Tuesday. Goodbye now. See you. Maybe Ben's here. He might be in Barbados.
Probably not.
Hi, Ben.
Idiot.